What is up, guys? GRC, Hex in the morning, Sam Stolt. We got a crazy one today. I don't know if Bullish is in here yet. I'm going to say no. He had to run for a second. Nobody's even paying attention to the 100K Hex giveaway, but GRC is paying close attention. Very, very close attention like I do to everything. So we're having Crypto Stylist on right now. We're going to talk about the rules, talk about everything, guys. Biceps in the chat right now, or I won't even start this. I might even take my shirt off at some point. Who knows, guys? Boom!
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the Hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. PulseChain out and get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this PulseChain lingo. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this PulseChain lingo. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my Hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
That intro, bro, is sick.
I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better at such a rapid speed. Stop clapping for me. Stop clapping for me. Everybody. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm like, Scott, you're a grinder, buddy. Yeah! Hey, guys. Sam Stolt, Hex in the morning. We have a special guest with us today. The amazing, the beautiful, the wonderful, the elegant Crypto Stylist.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Okay. How about you?
Good. Have you met Sam yet?
Yeah, we met. I was on your
Yeah,
stream.
Right.
Like a week ago. Hi,
Yeah,
Sam.
right.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes. How are you doing? We didn't get a chance to talk like in depth much last time you were on, but it was nice meeting you last time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I look forward to like a stream where we can really like dive into it, you know, a subject, and I can ask a lot of questions. So you seem to be really knowledgeable about crypto, and you also ask very good questions. So it's a really fun journey to go on with you. I think that's why this show is so popular, because everyone learns together, right?
It is it. I love learning.
Learning is the way. Like,
yeah, and it's okay to not know. And it's okay to not know. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not understand and have to be explained something 5-6 times. Like, not a big deal, you know? So
you can use me as an example. I will ask any dude any question, even if it's rudimentary compared to the populace around.
I don't think he knows.
Yeah, I think I've asked what is really a T-share. I think I've asked that question like 500 times. I'm like, I kind of get it, but not really.
So real quick. We have an actual thing we have to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Stylist only has 25 minutes left. So let me introduce it. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Sam, interject whenever. Let's get to the bottom of this because GRC needs to work on something. So you're doing a 100,000 Hex giveaway to one person. So it's going to one person. And I'm just going to say what I know and then fill me in, okay? You have to download TikTok. You have to have an account and show your face in the video. Then you have to make a video on the mission statement, which you came up with, which we'll pull up in a minute. And whichever one gets the most views gets the money.
Yes, you have to show your face, not an animated version of your face. You have to show your face. And there are 8 steps to qualify to enter. That's on the gleam.io. Do you have that? I can send it to you so you can drop it in
Yeah,
the.
just pop the link anywhere and I'll just pull it
Yeah,
up.
I'll pop in the link and then so that you can put that in so people will know exactly what they have to do. It's basically sign up to Twitter accounts of myself, K4K, Crypto Coffee, and then you have to go and watch content on each of our respective YouTube channels. And then there's something else. So I'll
Hey, if you put the link in the private chat over here on the side of StreamYard, I'll pull it up and then I'll share it so you can walk through each one of these 8 steps. That's interesting. 100K of hacks. So you guys
That's a lot of hex, guys. That is $100,000 as far as I'm concerned. I mean, hex was $1 to me in my mind a long time ago when I saw it run to 54 and I saw what it was capable of. You know, not necessarily like the price action in particular, but the capability of the product. In its bullish form. It's a scary proposition when you're talking about a free 100,000 hacks. That's free. You can go stake it. You can go sell it. You can do whatever you want with it. They're not making it, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure if you were part of a smart person's group, you would divvy it up into some cryptos. In my opinion, crypto's a good place to be.
Crypto's definitely the way.
remember, you get the copy too. You get the copy on the PulseChain. So you're actually getting 200,000.
200,000 hex, Sam. What in the Sam's like, let's make a video.
It's a lot of hex. I mean, I'm surprised that we don't have like thousands of videos. There should be more.
I'm telling you why right now. You want me to tell you why I think?
Tell me why.
And it's nothing about what you guys are doing. We're in a bear market and people are forgetting about what hex is. Nobody knows, like hex is not super popular right now. If you look up the analytics, in which we can do after you leave, and if you ever want to watch back, you can just look at them. I'm going to pull up the analytics for hex, or I'm going to have Sam probably pull up the analytics for hex. I want to compare hex. We were doing a lot of PulseChain and PulseX comparing. I want to do a little hex comparing, and maybe to the peak of hex at 54 cents to now, and see what kind of action there is in the analytics. But I think hex right now, people don't even, a lot of the guys that are flowing into this system, they haven't thought about hex once in their life. Now there's a lot of hex things. To me, it makes a perfect sense. That's amazing. One of the most amazing propositions I've ever heard as far as a contest is concerned.
But there's also,
I'm trying to push it too.
There's also a lot. A-Bit, what's up? And everybody else in the chat. There's a lot of skepticism when it comes to giveaways today. A lot of people have seen people not follow through on them. So I think going through and continuing to be transparent as hell and being transparent about the process and where everything is going, because like I don't even enter contests personally because that's like it's a waste of my time. I'm like 9 out of 10 times it's not actually real. People just do this for publicity, right? So getting over that hump, I think there's a lot of people in that boat where just like they've seen 100,000 contests over the last 2 years to do that, and they got to get past that hump. Go ahead.
Hold on real quick. They said Tangent had to delete his YouTube channel because of Australian law. You know Tangent, Sam.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's crazy. Anyway, go back to that.
Reach out to him on Twitter. See.
I will. I'll see if he has a different StreamYard. Maybe he can jump on mine at some point. But
do you have that link, Crypto?
I do. I just want to make sure. So if I send it to you, can you I want to make sure it's the right one. I'm not able to open it because my phone has a VPN on it and I'm not able to turn it off.
Send me anything on personal or Telegram and I'll just pull it up.
I'm going to send it to your personal. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Copy link.
No rush. Don't worry. This is going to be recording and we'll get
No rush. There's only a timer of about 20 minutes left.
Yep,
so
you got
okay, 19 minutes and 58 seconds.
Okay, are there any questions? I mean, other than
I want to know what those 8 steps are. Right? Like, that's the important part.
We'll pull it up and I'll know if it's the right one.
So I'm going to go through and say them one by one. Sam, I want you to interject when you have a question about any of them.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Oh, good. Yes.
Okay, guys. So we have 13 days left. This started yesterday, I believe. Fix the money, fix the world. 100,000 hex contest. Official rules. Number 1, all submissions below are required to qualify. If you do not complete all 8 steps below, you are disqualified, guys. So make sure you do every single one. Okay. You must make an original TikTok video showing your face, explaining why you love Hex. PulseChain and PulseX can be voice or subtitle text. The TikTok video must mention the slogan, fix the money, fix the world, and must use the hashtag fix the money, fix the world, FTMFTW. Number 4, if your video is copied from somebody else's original post, you're disqualified. Number 5, you must upload your personal TikTok QR code below to verify your own. TikTok QR code below to verify you own your account. Oh, that's an important one.
What is that? Yeah, what can you talk about that? What is that?
So basically, you have to. There's a way that you can upload. There's a QR code that goes with your with your TikTok account that I guess Gleam has a way that you have to upload it to verify your account. That's going to all happen through Gleam. It's set up for like verification and that kind of thing. So you're not, So it's, we know that it's your account.
Have you guys done a tutorial video to show people how to do that?
No, but you know what? That's a really good point, and I think that we should.
We can do it for you. Maybe I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm going to do it anyway. Or Sam.
So why don't you pull? Why don't you can pull up? Let's run through these, and then you can pull it up if we have time, real quick.
All right, real quick. Let me keep reading. So we'll talk about the QR code here in a minute. Number 6, after qualifying with the steps above, the winning TikTok will be the one with the most likes, not views, likes. That's an important difference because the ratios are way different depending on your video. So there is number 7, winner will be announced on styist YouTube channel on April 20th, 2022. We will reach out to the winner privately via the method they signed up with. Winner must respond within 24 hours or else the second most liked video will be chosen, and so on. Of course, guys, beware of scammers in every way, shape, and form all over the internet, not just this, Telegram, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. People want to scam you. We're talking to you here live because we want you to know this is not a scam.
So it says when somebody signs up, where does somebody sign up? Because it doesn't say that in one of the steps.
You sign up through Gleam. Through gleam.io. I believe that through this link. So you basically, what you can do is it's the link that's you go onto that link and then you push like the +1, the +1, the +1.
So is this something that like you have a link that you put out there somewhere, or is this because it's not? I'm not sure. Like based on this.
Upload your personal TikTok QR code here and link to your video on TikTok here. All right, at the bottom. So hold on, let me see. So
pretend like you're going to sign up right now, GRC.
Okay.
So GRC is going to sign up. Be like, okay, cool. I want to. But there's no like sign up here. There's no like, hey, fucking press this button and go to the next step. How do you do that?
We might need to
update this page. But how Crypto Stylist? How would he go about doing this? Right? Like if he was like, hey, I want to do this. I'm excited. Let me do that video right now.
You push on each of those green buttons and it'll tell you what to do. Like push on the first one and see what happens. The +1. Those are the steps you have to do.
All right. So step 1, you visit Crypto Coffee's YouTube channel. I'm not going to click on that one because that's obvious. Okay.
When you click on Pay4Ks, I want to make sure it's the right one because he has 2 and I make sure it's the right one.
This one right here?
Yeah. That is not his gaming one.
It's the correct one.
Okay. All right. All right. So you just click and you just follow the steps. Everything's contained within Gleam, which is what I like about it. It all happens within this application.
So you basically, all you have to do, Sam, so I'll tell you exactly what I would do, Sam, at this point.
So maybe do a video where you explain this, because if I'm like some random fucker looking at your shit, I'm like, I have no idea how to do this. There's no clear explanation on how to, and I'm just like looking at this, I was
That's
like, there's
really
no
good.
no direction on how to sign up. None whatsoever. Right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I would have no idea how to sign up. Right? It doesn't give me a link or say next step is the 8 things below. Right? I don't know that. You read through that and you're like, how do you actually sign up? There's no link here. You just see things that like are going to take you to social links, but you don't know that's the next step. So there's no like, I wouldn't be clear. I'd be like, I have no idea on like how to actually do this. But go ahead. So you're going to go through these steps now. GRC, you want to check on.
So basically, I'm going to make a video, post it to TikTok, and then upload it to this page, and then verify that it's me. That's all you have to do.
Yes.
So you basically upload your link on your TikTok video directly to the last one, and then you upload your QR code directly to the one before that. Which, if you go to your TikTok, there's a QR code. You can just press copy link, and it's very user friendly. So yeah, basically, guys, if you don't have a TikTok already, if you don't want to dox yourself and you're going to make a big deal out of it, just shut the F up then. And just don't, you can just like people's stuff. You don't have, just because you don't want to dox yourself, you're just not part, it's a contest. It's not
it's okay. If you don't want to dox yourself, we certainly don't want to force you, but you know, it's just the exchange for the, we're trying to grow our social media influence because we really want to spread the word. I don't even seek to make money off of, you know, doing my YouTube channel, but I understand if you don't want to dox yourself, that is totally your right.
Yes. Cool. So this is exciting. How did you guys come to this idea, like together?
Well, there's an anonymous donor whom I know who he is, and he's friends with friends of mine. So he's a legitimate person, like a normal, legitimate, nice, you know, person. And he saw that I did a stream with coffee. I did a stream with coffee, I don't know, like a month ago. And he was like, you know what, your channel should be so much bigger. And, you know, I think that if you work together with coffee, and he really likes K4K, if you were the 3 of you did a giveaway together, because their influence and, you know, their support is so appreciated. I'm so grateful that coffee and also K4K have decided to support me on this giveaway on this contest, because without them, I wouldn't be able to really get the word out there to as many people. And plus it's more fun to do it together. And he wanted to see their influence grow and wanted me to also get a little bit of a jump start on my channel because, you know, I'm just starting. So he wanted to help me just get a little bit, you know, move a little bit faster. So that I can get the word out there to a different crowd. He knows that I access a different group of people because of what I do and because of my background, and I'm a female, I'm Asian, all that.
Yeah. What are you doing to get the word out?
I'm going
that's where we can probably, like, you know, GRC, I don't know if he tells us up, but I got over 200,000 plus views over the last 30 days. And like little things that we'd be like, oh, maybe you try this thing to get the word out more, to get more people on board.
Well, Sam, I watched your stream with Crypto Coffee where you guys talked about clips and doing the short little videos and how those get so many views. Maybe we could try to find sound bites from this video, or you guys can make it. It doesn't have to be even me saying it. It could be you guys talking about it and just clip it, talk about it.
I just want to make a Star Wars video for some reason, like dressed up like a Star Wars guy with lightsabers. Like for some reason, I've never had an excuse for someone to be like, make a cool video. It's like the first time I was like incentivized in any way other than me just thinking about it. Now I'm like, I want to
do that for your TikTok video.
Cool videos. What if we turn into like this?
Could somebody enter 100 videos?
Yeah.
Cool.
You can.
You have your answer. You have your answer. You have your answer. How hard is it to create 100 videos? You just get the top one. Yesterday I uploaded 20 videos to TikTok. Like, it's not hard. You can
I know. I'm telling
you. Yeah, Sam, you and I need to talk separately. I need to kind of get on how to do this clipping
thing. About your girlfriend, not your skills. I was like, your girlfriend's gonna be pissed because she's not gonna see it. You're gonna be making a video.
But not that I don't think anybody would actually take the time to do that other than a whack job like me or something. But like,
you know, I would.
Yeah, I'm going on.
Write that down in my journal or anything.
I'm going on as many streams as I can. I talk about it on my own streams, maybe uploading some interesting, you know, entries, and then just to keep talking about it and just see kind of what happens, because this is also a social experiment. Are people really going to be super afraid because they think it's a fraud, or they're going to get rug pulled, or are people really into it? Like, are people into the messaging? You know, what kind of stories have come out of it? You know, and just kind of just to see. We have no idea. I've never done that.
Have you like, are you doing that daily in terms of getting the word out for the next?
Well, it's only been 2 days, and so yeah, this is my second time, and then I'm going on to Cabana's channel tomorrow. So yeah, I should do something daily, or I'll start doing stuff on my channel, on the days that I'm not on other people's channels. At the same time every day, Jim Rat, per your advice,
Thank you.
to feed the algorithm.
As you guys can see, my algorithm's been doing decent, but like there
Yeah.
is competition. There's days where people stream that have popular streams. You just got to go with the flow. Like you don't have to be so. Also, another thing that I've realized from watching other people stream, they get so caught up in how many people are watching that they can't enjoy the stream. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, we're just chit-chatting.
Yeah.
You have to be entertaining, but you have to be realistic. Like there's bad days and good days in this world. Like some days you get a text in the morning and your buddy wants to come on the show and it turns out being a great show. And then some days the dude ditches on you and it's just whatever. Like, but never feel like you have to develop your personality, because I could come on here for an hour and a half and talk about absolutely nothing. And everyone would still like to watch because I'd just be interactive, in depth, detailed, and excited, right? Like that's all it takes. It just takes, but the boringness, people really have to understand, like most content is just boring. It's not that the long form content, because when I go to short term content, I don't really care if it's boring because I kind of try to pay attention to it. But like for something that's more Joe Rogan style, like where you're just like open, there has to be a little zest in the convo. Me and Sam wouldn't just be like, all right, this equals this, and this fee is this. He's like, oh my God, like the buy-in rate.
It's
like,
most interesting when people connect, when you see human connection and that somebody's really interested in somebody else and someone's learning and then they relate on certain things, they clash on things. It's a dance. Like this whole interview process and every stream is a dance. So I always try to pick good dance partners. That's kind of how I look at it,
You like dancing IRL in real life?
Do I like dancing? Yeah, I do. I like it.
What can you tell me about I don't personally like consume a lot of like anybody, not any like you put like just any content in general. But can you tell people what your channel is like? What type of stuff are you talking? Like, what was the video you did yesterday or the last video you posted? What was it about? So people can get an idea of the thinking behind.
The last interview I did was with a volleyball pro. Jim Rat was in the chat. It was a volleyball pro from Germany. And he's an OG Hexagon. He met Richard Hart at the dinner at the 2nd year anniversary. So he was one of those 30 guests with all the whales. He was in that room. And his point of view, like amongst his crew and call it like his peers of professional athletes, what their point is on crypto, like are they open to it? Are they not open to it? It's interesting to see, how crypto and Hex and Pulse is received in that world, because it's completely different. And then about him, because he's a professional athlete, so he's really good at what he does. That's always interesting. So I try to pick interesting subjects, and then ask them a lot of questions about themselves. When I got into crypto, we talked about the EU, what's happening in the EU. But my whole thing is with interviews, I like to highlight people in the community whom I find interesting and really try to build them up in a way, put them in the best light possible, right? Because like I love people and I want to bring out their positive in them. I will challenge them, but I want to bring out the positive. So it's like a very like Oprah kind of show where you're like really like human connection. People feel like they get to know that person and you see their strengths. And then the other thing that I do is marketing. I do a lot of like there's a Hex and streetwear. So I compare the rise of streetwear and how it's similar to the rise of crypto. Is really similar. They're both
what is streetwear?
Like Supreme. So like logo sweatshirts that used to buy like skaters would wear used to be considered on the outskirts and not real fashion. And now that's taken over high fashion. That has taken over the luxury market. Luxury designers used to think that streetwear wasn't even fashion.
So
and
streetwear is just regular clothes. Is that what you're trying to say?
Like Supreme, like the t-shirt.
Let me tell you, streetwear was like what normal kids would wear in the streets back in the day. But now, because of whatever fashion trends and how things just change up, that is the same stuff they sell for $1,000 a piece to rich people to wear now. There's
an authenticity to it because of the fact that it comes from street culture. So like skate culture, hip hop culture, surf culture. It comes from those kind of, the outliers or the rebels in the community, right? But what they've done is they manipulate supply and demand. So they really hold back the supply, pump up the demand. People wait in line for like 24 hours to buy. There's 100 t-shirts available. They buy them, they flip them on the gray market, on the secondary markets, just like freaking NFTs. You know what I mean? And they make a lot of money on it.
It was the same thing.
Really similar to crypto.
It's the same thing. Every scam is the same. Yeah. The variable X is just a different product.
And then
Jordans, remember Jordans? All my friends, I didn't like that stuff in particular, but like all my buddies from basketball and stuff, they would scream and cry to their parents, stay outside in a tent for 2 days to get a pair of Jordans. And I was always like, what the fuck? Now, but I know it's legit because there was literally half the school was doing it.
So, and then also streetwear brands that collaborate with big brands like Rolex, Nike, Louis Vuitton, they do these collaborations that lift them up. So my point is that we, Hex, PulseX, this whole ecosystem is a brand. I've had this conversation with Richard. It is a brand. So we need to approach it as we're trying to make it go viral. These are the things that I think we can do that I've learned from brands that have been successful that we can apply to what we're doing to help our brand go viral. So it's a very different point of view. A lot of people don't get it. It's a little bit out there, but I mean, I'd rather have an original thought and talk about something that people haven't heard before and that I'm interested in, and I happen to think is very valuable. But hopefully it'll catch on. We'll see.
Do you see crypto as the supreme thing? Like I know that's like
You should watch the video. Seriously, you should watch the video.
It would be a good video for you to watch to get out of your normal routine just for a little video.
Just watch that video, and then
I had a question about that video, but I also wanted to hear your thoughts on crypto as like the social aspect behind crypto because of the incentives that it creates. So with the dude you talked to, what was his point of view on like the people that he interacts with? Is it, I would assume it's pretty similar where people are don't like have any idea what he's talking about when he talk, like the guy in soccer you said, who when he brings up crypto, probably a bunch of his friends are, either apprehensive or don't have any freaking clue what he's talking about. A
lot of them are apprehensive, but some have really, he's onboarded quite a few people too. He's really intelligent. So he seems very trustworthy. So I would imagine that his friends trust him, right? He seems like a good guy.
I could never imagine that guy backstabbing me, and I didn't even know him. He just seemed nice. He was cool.
So sweet. Yeah, he's like really into his wife and his kids and just his family. He's a good guy. As
far as the social aspect of crypto, it's tribalistic. It's just like, again, you can always relate it back to like other things that people got obsessed with at certain times in history, right? Like you can always link it back to other companies that people got fanatical about and did well. There's
Tesla. Everyone thought Tesla was a joke, and that Elon Musk.
Everyone that liked Tesla was a joke.
Yeah,
it was like they were attacking the people that even liked the electric cars that were fucking lit as hell. It made
That's my next video.
They were clearly awesome.
Yeah. Hey, if you have questions about Tesla, I followed Tesla for like 10 plus years, and
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely have to talk.
Wait. I just switched. Go ahead.
Oh, you did? I love the Tesla. Okay. Do you guys have any more questions about the contest? No? It's all clear?
No, I think it was all clear. The QR code was one of my questions, and then like actually what to do. That didn't seem super obvious to me reading through that list, but you answered those questions. I appreciate you taking the time to share that information about that. I'm excited to see some of those things that come out around the unique perspectives people have on like why they love Hex or why they love PulseX or Pulse.
I want to make a genuine video. So now that I think about it, like I want to make like as genuine as a video as I can and see what happens. Like I'm not going to chase the views. I'm going to just do it like as open-heartedly as I can, and hopefully people just like it a lot.
It's the way to win.
Yep,
that's the way to win.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Crypto Stylist. I hope your channel blows up, and I hope everything happens amazing for you.
I'll see you soon. Bye, Sam. Bye.
Yes, if you need it, if I can ever help, feel free to reach out. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Same. All right, bye.
So what is up, brother? I had a great morning, and
really,
I had a fantastic morning. It was a wonderful morning.
Tell me, because mine was a little rough. So let's compare and contrast.
I figured out how, and this is probably you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
I watched the video, but just go on for the people.
I figured out how to create a call option position in crypto. So
explain call option first, and then because I kind of know what a call option is, but I've never had it explained to me in detail right in front of my face. So
Okay.
Let's
Well, so
hold on.
so
Let me change the title real quick to fucking exactly what Sam just said. What was the title of the video?
you can
I'm
get
gonna pull up your video. You want to pull it up?
Well, no, so I haven't made it yet. This is going to be a
Oh,
separate
you
one.
just commented in the Telegram, didn't you?
Yeah.
Telegram.
Yeah. Because I'm going to run.
Tell me about what you found. What are the risks? What are the potential gains?
Okay. So, and by the way, I'm not recommending anybody do any of the things that I talk about in these videos. Like this is pretty
experimental
advanced.
as fuck.
Yes. And if you don't understand like what a call option is, like don't even like I don't even try any of this shit. Like it's not a good idea for you, or unless you want to really go down the rabbit hole, like and go balls deep into it. But if you don't understand something, that's how people get fucked. Like when they don't understand what they're doing. So the idea is you buy a call option, you pay a premium, and it gets you the option in the future to benefit in some way financially. So how the payoff works on a call option is basically like this. Like you pay a small premium here, and in the future, if the price of something goes up, you get a amplification effect on that. So you get like a leveraged position on the underlying piece. So there's asymmetric payoffs. You know how people talk about asymmetric returns in crypto?
Like double up, double down.
Yeah. So say if like you put in $1,000 in crypto, you could 100x that over the next 24 months, right?
So you could just long at that moment, and then if it goes down, you get double wrecked and liquidated, or if it goes up, you get your money plus the 100x. Which
correct.
I'm pulling myself up for a second. Friggin' clip this, guys. This is a disclaimer. Guys, I have never traded crypto in my entire life. I'm not saying I never will. I mean, yes, I've switched positions, but that's it. Maybe 3 or 4 times in my life. I'm not an expert when it comes to trading. I'm not an expert when it comes to yield farming. I'm not an expert at these things, but I'm learning. And everything we say is from more of an experimental lens, like what is possible. Me and Sam like to know what's possible. It doesn't mean we're fucking doing it. We're not selling our houses for crypto, but that is a really good name for a video. I love that video. I was like, once you did that, I was like, that's a fucking good video.
you can create it's basically called a synthetic call option using different strategy, but basically you can create a call option where you would just pay that tiny little premium and you get all these gains, right? And when you stick that call option on top of crypto, which already has asymmetric gains to it, you have like one way to think about it is like a double exponential, right? So you just returns can be stupid for
Why do I feel like it's
trivial.
easier to lose on option calls than it is to win, even if it's technically, let's say it's technically 50-50 for a second.
Well, it's not 50. It's not 50-50
because it's always going up. So I guess it isn't 50-50.
Well, if you look at empirical data, options like 80-something%, 84 or 87%, depending on the source of options, expire worthless. Most people in options buy options. So think about this for a second. Be like, GRC, I'll sell you something that I know has an 85% probability to go to zero, right? You'll buy that at 86% of the time, it's going to zero, right? 15% of the time it's in the money. 86% of the time, like who wins on that?
But when it's in the money, what are the gains?
They can be very, very substantial.
In that
like 100x. Exactly. 100x just using an option. Yes.
So do you think there's a way, let's say you're super rich. Let's just say like you're a rich dude and you're trading options. Okay. So you don't care about money as far as the money that you have in your account. You're kind of just playing with it. You want to see what you could do. Are you saying, I would say as far as the trading sites that I've seen, they say 64% of people lose their money roughly.
Correct. Okay. So I'm not saying you should trade. So there's different types of options. There's shorter term options, right? Like there's bi-weekly, there's like a tri-weekly. If you look at the S&P 500 index, I think it's like SPY ETF, there's options that expire 3 times a week. So the shorter term you go, the more risk is involved. There's other things called leap options, LEAP, leap options that are longer term. So what if you could buy an option that was 2 years out? So when you buy things that are 2 years out, there's a lot more time on your side to win. If you buy an option that's expiring Friday, right? Today is
I don't
Thursday.
understand. So you can sell your option. Doesn't matter how much time is going by.
Depending on how you structure it. there's a lot of people that get wrecked doing short-term shit, right? You see
That's
this.
so dumb if you were doing short-term buying and selling of options. That's sketchy ass shit, isn't it?
I did it to buy this house. Like that's how I paid for this house. But I'm not saying anybody should do that. That is then I lost $5,000. Like,
can we get into that for a second?
Yeah.
All right, 1 second. I'm gonna grab one thing.
Yeah, because I would definitely not recommend it. But you can basically create a options type of payoff, but with an option, if you were to buy a call option and not using an exchange, you create a synthetic one yourself. Like you don't need to use an exchange because those are going to be more efficient in how they're operating, right? Because they're going to be a lot of eyeballs. But if you can do something yourself and create a synthetic position, think of a synthetic position as like, you know, the garbage meat that they have that's made out of plants, right? Like that type of like fake meat, right? You can create a fake options position that has the same payoff as an option, but you can create that. And you can create it so it's 2 years into the future. So this may be like, oh wait, I'm super bullish on Pulse. I'm super bullish on Pulse X. I'm super bullish on Hex. So I'm going to do the video on Hex tomorrow, creating, a leap type of option payoff that you don't actually have to pay for until 2 years in the future. This is incredible. Nobody else is talking about this stuff, dude. Nobody else is talking about this stuff at all. So you know how we don't trade MoFit Meals by Monica. Yes, definitely don't trade. Not a good idea to trade. I'm not trading. So I definitely wouldn't recommend anybody do trading. But I did make enough money to buy this house using options. But you know how I just said to GRC, you can use options and you lose most of the time if you purchase them. I'll sell him those options.
So tell me exactly what happened when you did it. Like exactly the scenario, no numbers, well, other than percentages. Tell me what happened.
So I've always been fascinated by options. The equities market, the bond market are very efficient markets, meaning there's not as much opportunity to make alpha. Alpha is the above and beyond what everybody is doing, right? You can think of it that way. So in those markets, they're very efficient, so it's hard to earn alpha. When you look at options, I think of it as like an XY axis. So where complexity is on one side and opportunities on the other side. Increasing complexity means there's a lot less people doing it, so the opportunity increases. That's how options are. Most people do not understand options at all.
I don't
so
really.
I'd sell people options. Period. And you just
that's what you're saying when you say it's a little black market. Is basically you're selling to people that have no idea what they're doing.
And most people look at everybody in life, don't know what the fuck they're doing
at all.
Period.
I would say roughly 80% are right on that line of like absolutely. What was that noise?
That's a fucking thunderstorm here. Hopefully the power doesn't go out.
Wow. Was that really a thunder?
Yeah, it was thunder and lightning outside. It's actually like, I can't show you, but like it's very dark out, and yet it's 11:40 in the morning, and it's very dark outside.
My rental car won't start.
Yeah.
I swear to God, dude, I went out there and the battery's just like dead. It won't. I have to jump it. I don't have I don't have another car here because my car's fucking wrecked. But anyway, I don't.
So with
here and fucking party with my friends.
With Tesla, what I would do is I would sell options on Tesla. Right? I understood what was happening with the company because I've been studying them for years and years and years. So you see FUD, right? And then you're like, oh, that's opportunity, right? So I'd sell options.
It was RH thundering over your house because you're talking about option trading.
Open the window, Romanian Dan says. I think it will get all over my. That was pretty loud, wasn't it?
Romanian Dan, it was loud as shit. I was like, it sounded like a dog dying and like a toilet flushing at the same time. It was like, but hey, let me call out the chat real quick, guys. Everyone, first of all, let me have a moment with the chat. Love you guys so much. You guys are the best. No one, come on, Sam. We're grateful as fuck just to have like
100%
chill with, dude. Like this is fun. At the minimum, this is fun as shit. Like we're having fun. We're learning stuff about streaming. We're talking to people from all over the world. If we stopped all this right now, it would be still a freaking awesome as I could have ever imagined something going. Isn't that so crazy to say out loud? Like I could have never imagined this going so well. And I didn't even really plan it up. It just kind of happened. It was just like, And I think I did it in
100%.
the right way. I think I did it in the right way.
Well, so you're just getting started. Why don't you can talk about that too, because you're at 900 and so subscribers over the last 45 days, 2 months or something, and you're growing and you're growing quickly and you're enjoying the process and meeting lots of new people. Like, what more could you fucking ask for?
Well, I can already see some of the pitfalls in my mind, right? Like, okay, now I realize that most of social media is totally fake, which I already knew, but now I double know, which is annoying. Like, you see some stuff go on and you see more people when you get into the social media thick of things, and you're just like, man, this is a fucking scam artist city for the most part. There are good guys out there. I find them, and I go to Telegram chats where they are. Those are the guys I speak with, guys that have integrity. Guys that would feel bad if they were not living the right kind of life. We're all egotistical in our own way, but like, we're all trying to be the best person we can be because we don't know what else to do. I think that's a lot of it too, Sam. It's like, what other way can we aim as men? Who's going to give us anything? Who's going to do anything for us?
Nobody.
At what point is someone going to be like, Sam, oh, dude, stop working so hard. You're good. I got you, bro. No one. It's impossible.
When I was homeschooled my whole life, K through 12, right? So I was never in like a classroom.
Incredible.
And then I went to college, and that was a joke too. But when I was going through that process, I thought I was behind, and then I thought, like, I'm looking for the job that like is going to give me what I want. And every year or two, probably less than 2 years, year and a half, since I was about 18, 17 years old, up until maybe a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was switching jobs and I was moving. In one period of time, within like a 2-year period of time, I was in 5 different states because I was figuring out it is 100% responsibility on me to solve those issues, to find the success that I want in my physical health, my mental health, and my relationships, and my financial health, and everything that I want is all done by me. I'm the one who drives the reins and like figures it all out. And that took me quite a long time to figure it out. If you guys are younger than me and you're like, oh wow, this guy's saying something intelligent, like take that and run with it in your life to start taking action in your life. It is so worth it.
It is hard though. You got to give people the benefit of the, like, it's hard to be isolated enough. You found out how to isolate yourself from others. I did too. I was like, I did too. Like when I saw what you were doing and you were like, I don't really care about friends as much. Your philosophy on life was different. It was different.
How was that? So when we were doing coaching back, years ago, what was that?
This guy's smart and he's a little bit, I would have assumed lonely, but then I realized as I got older that other people don't give a fuck about you. So he's not lonely. He's just just doing the smart thing and working rather than pretending other people are giving a S, other than a few people in your life. I'm talking 1 or 2 or 3 in like your moms and dads. Like that's it. Like no one else could even possibly by biological even care that much about you because you only can think about so much through the day. And as I get older, I've realized there's not that much time in the day. You really can't do that fucking much, dude. I'm putting my balls on the line and I'm like, I have to be more efficient. It's not that I have to work longer. I have to figure out how to be more efficient because I remember when I isolated myself for 1 year, it turned out good. Dude, you were watching that video of Avit yesterday, right? Dude, you missed that video, bro. Are you kidding me? I got to pull it back up. This motherfucker was living in a crawl space and he was just saving all his money and buying hex. And he's documenting it and he has the video. I'm going to pull it up. You're going to be like so inspired because we're the same way, right? Like
Avit is in the comments. Avit, you need to share. You got to come on sometime and share that story and the details around it.
Can you send me that link by any chance? Because I haven't perused through your YouTube
Chad,
yesterday.
So Chad also mentions something here, and I he's like, is my story too. So just so everybody's aware, like you're like, okay, and I have no idea what your opinion is of me, and I also don't really care. Like you can have whatever opinion you want of me, right? Like don't even slightly think that I'm doing something that's special. Like last year, I wasn't even making enough money to live on. Like I quit working in a bank making 6 figures, and I didn't have enough money to live on, and I'm living off of credit card. Like you just got to continue on that journey, pushing through. You want to pull this video up and we'll listen to it.
So I have to pull up hold on. I'm going to pull up the video because I'm going to zoom through it a little bit because it's a longer video, but you can get to the point. This guy's an absolute, he's like a hero of mine. You know, I know people do. I don't know this guy personally. Like, so I couldn't, you know, he knows that I don't know him personally as well. So I can't say anything about his character necessarily, but I can say that I like the way this guy moves. I like that he's friendly, open-minded, and focused. And look what he was doing. He was doing exactly what I'm doing, exactly what Sam's done in the past, putting his balls on the line for what he believes in and saying, I'm going all in. He went all in. And look at him now. He's doing whatever the F he wants, traveling around the country, giving away PulseChain to every person that he can. He's living his absolute dream. And this was just a little bit of time ago. So let's go ahead and play this right here. Can you hear it, Sam?
No.
But there's no audio at this moment.
Next guest.
Here you go.
There you go.
You can check in. Of course, there are little things to do still, but I don't want to bore you with that. I want to tell the story, my story. So what is my story? So this apartment you see here right now, I hosted it as a Airbnb superhost for 1 year. So I rented it out to other people, right? And this is not the only apartment. I also have another apartment next door. So I have 2 apartments and I pretty much clean them. And the reason why I say I am a super host is it's not that special. It only means you have 25 guests in 1 year. And I have way more than this, okay? So I can make pretty much a living out of those 2 apartments, which is amazing. But if I rent out these 2 apartments, where do I live, right? So this is where we go next. This is what I'm going to tell you next. So right now we are leaving this apartment. Let's see. You see this door there? This is where I used to live the last 10 years. This was my home. And I didn't have any money. And I wanted to go to a metal concert, right? So I booked this apartment out for like 1 day, but also I forgot to cancel out all the other days. So after this day, my apartment was fully booked and I didn't have a home anymore. And where did I stay? I'm gonna tell you. I made myself just a little tiny room. And this is the place where I lived the last year. For 1 year, I lived in the basement down where I used to rent those 2 apartments. And it looks a little bit sketchy. It looks a little bit dirty because it is. I just made a little tiny room. There it is. It is dark. You can turn on the light. Here we go. Guys, I lived here in this little room for 1 year. I'm not even lying. Look at this. This is where my green screen is. This is where I did all my work for Hex, of course. And you cannot even stand up here. You see, I have to stand up like this. This is my bed. I used to sleep here like this. And I was actually just like for 1 year living a really, really low life, if you want to. So I didn't spend any money whatsoever. I had my 2 apartments. I had to work 1 or 2 hours a day for the last year. And this is pretty much all I did. So what did I do with the rest of those 24 hours everybody has in the day, right? What I did was researching Hex. I found Hex on the 3rd of December, a little bit earlier, but I decided to invest in Hex and it turned out fabulous for me, fabulous. So I didn't have to pay rent. I really cut down on all my expenses. You know what I ate the last year? I not only lived in this little room here, just like a homeless guy, I also ate like a homeless guy. I pretty much had only 3 meals a day. In the morning, I ate some curd with milk and oatmeal. As dinner, I had some lentils with tomato sauce. And at night, I had the same dinner I had in the breakfast, just some curd with oatmeal. I did this for 1 year. So What did I do with all my money? Of course, I invested it in Hex, and just as I said, it turned out awesome. And this is the reason why I show you this video today, because I'm canceling my job. I don't want to work anymore, and I want to be a travel vlogger. So in the next scene, you will probably see me somewhere in the world walking on the beach, and I won't be here in Germany anymore. I promise you that. So here we are in Acapulco, Mexico. The music is playing, so I don't know if you actually can understand me. I ordered a beautiful dish, some enchiladas for me, and of course some Corona as well. So, the music is playing. I don't know if you can even understand me. I will start my meal and we will see us later. So
That was pretty powerful stuff.
That is
Wasn't
that
it,
is
Sam?
no. It reminds me of my story, like in certain ways. Like
Dude,
I
it
don't-
reminds me of right now in my story. Like literally right now in my story. I'm like cutting down on all my expenses. I'm not leaving the house. I'm like renting out my house. Like, yeah, the house looks different and it's in a different part of the world where there's probably more land. So, you know, he was probably in a dense city, it seemed like, more so apartment style. And hats off to him, man. Like damn, people wanted people. Hey, we're gonna be inviting people on one to come on and say what's up. All right. Okay.
But those stories need to be told more. Like A-Bit.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
just
That's
to-
why I spread his shit like wildfire because I'm like, guys, come on. That dude crushed it. That dude didn't have it. Nobody was helping him, probably.
Well, the more you tell so do you know when you see somebody on the side of the road with their car and they're trying to flag people down, right? People just drive by, right? But as soon as you see that person, right, they're at the intersection and they're pushing their car through the intersection, you park, you stop your car, and you be like, oh man, hey, let me help you push your car. Because in life, people want to help people that are trying to help themselves. And when you just go try to ask for a handout of some sort, people don't want to give a handout. But when you go through and you're trying to help yourself and you're trying to tell your story and your journey and what you're trying to accomplish and your goals, wow, there's so much abundance out there and so many amazing people that are willing to help you on that journey. Yes, exactly what Ava says right here. The community in RH was helping me 100%.
That's the same with me, dude. They've supported me every step of the way. RH, everyone has retweeted, liked my stuff, always made me feel welcome, followed me, always made me feel like one of the guys. But when would they? But they were skeptical of me 100%. But I just proved to them through my actions rather than talking a bunch of S. I was like, I don't need to talk S. This is actually what I love. I love Hex and crypto more than anything I can imagine at this moment in my life. Things change, guys, obviously, about interest and stuff. But as far as right now, there's nothing I can think about or focus on effectively. This is all I can focus on effectively. For me.
So one of my goals, why don't you tell what your goal is if you have one in mind, right? So one of my goals over the next 90 days, this year I'm focusing instead of monthly things, it's much more of a quarterly focus. And that extended time frame creates more peace mentally for me. So on a quarterly basis, quarter one I had objectives that I was going after. Quarter two, so one of my objectives for quarter two is to get to 1 million views across channels. So I got multiple YouTube channels, like Facebook, TikTok, right, Instagram. So across channels, get to over 1 million views. But also, I have a business, and the business is dedicated to a specific location. It can be transported and whatnot, but it requires like some physical location. And I like a completely geographically free of any physical location if I want to be. So quarter number two, get over 1 million views in a month and transition so that not 98% of my income is coming from my business and the things that I'm doing related to that, and shifting that more to crypto related stuff or things that allows me to create more of the geographically free life that I'm driving for. Would you have any specific goals that you want to share like that, or you don't, if you're not comfortable, but like,
First
feel
of all,
free to share
I
that.
want to talk to, yes, I'll answer that. And I want to talk to Tangent. If the government really made him put down his shit, that's fucking horrible, dude. I'm so sick of Australian everything. Australia's a horrible place. I'm sorry. Obviously, it's beautiful and the animals are amazing and all that sort of thing. But as far as the government, it's not fair what they're doing for people that are so isolated by water. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they can really do much as far as just dip out. I know it's hard to go to and fro Australia. It always has been.
But the thing is, we're going through such a beautiful time that like we are experiencing the shift from fake trash propaganda that people call the news to this, and this shift is happening. But the same thing is happening on a countrywide basis. You know who's done the best job PRing themselves? The United States. So the United States PR'd themselves globally.
What do you mean?
That PR is in your Instagram profile is your PR version of yourself.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Public relations. Yeah, okay.
And that's your PR version, your YouTube, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, your presence to the world is your PR version. Well, the United States has done this for 200 years or whatever it is, right? So at this point, you see some in Western countries in general, right? And you see a lot of cracks in that as more and more information comes out. So not only are we seeing the death of fake news, but we're witnessing the slow, agonizing death, like the elephant's been shot and it's just dragging itself on, right? And we're seeing this shift take place with fake media, but also with countries, right? In the like pretending to be free when you're really not, like you're taking away people's freedoms and doing all this garbage. Like this stuff is getting exposed on a countrywide basis. And I don't know where things are going to go, but I do see over the next 10, 5, 20 years, we're going to look back at this point as like, oh, you lived through that time. You lived through that like really dark time in history when that type of stuff was going on. That's crazy that you were alive during that time. What was it like? There's going to be history books written about this because it's going to change things forever, especially utilizing, crypto, because this is also facilitating that global change. Think about what's going to happen when all of the money is in crypto, whether that takes 2 years or, the next 18 years. Right? Like it's happening.
I just thought about a good idea.
What's up?
So you know about the video? I have this one buddy that got leukemia out of nowhere. And I was thinking maybe I could do it and sponsor him and just give him the money if he needs it. I don't know if he needs it or not. I'm not sure about his financial situation. But like if I could do it and say just like, something about giving and, something like that, it would probably win and I could help someone at the same time. And everyone would think I was such a nice guy. No, but seriously, I actually have a random ass friend that has a best friend. I don't know the kid, but it's one of my best friends in the world. And he got leukemia, just out of nowhere. Just boom, 24 or 5. Just like full blown, I think. Ridiculous.
Is he still have it or is he like
no, like this is all like new news. I don't know how long that stuff takes. I don't know the specifics of the disease enough to chime in. So it makes me remember just like gosh.
What is your goal? So you were going to share what your goal was. What was your goal?
My goal is to have the best. Oh yeah, you mean like a numbers goal? I'd like to have 10,000 subs by the end of the summer, probably.
So what does that mean to you? Like end of summer? Is that a specific month? When is that?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet because it's been so every day. I don't even know if like it's been exploding and doing well. So I haven't really had time to sit back and make a goal, I think. But I've just been so happy with the progress and I could have never imagined it going so well. But I do need to get a little more calculated as I move forward so that I can, I know how the importance of specific goals as far as your thought process and it helps you focus and it helps you hone in. And it also you have that effect where you can kind of think things into reality intuitively.
Oh, in the comments, right? So what is your current goal that you're going after? And don't put down a goal that is something that you're not going to actually follow through on. It doesn't matter the size of the goal or anything like that. Put down a goal that you have that you're going to actually put the effort into, not some arbitrary thing that you're not actually.
I want to learn how to make short form videos.
Perfect. In terms of what do you mean by short?
I want to be able to cut a video up, edit it, and make it like a normal short video that's informative on a subject.
Dope. Okay. Awesome.
I want to learn how to do that, but right now, workload wise, it's really hard. But I do have to make that plunge at some moment where I just start videotaping.
One of the things that's been very helpful for me when I do short form videos, and I don't do as many as I can do, is I will dive into a topic, right, on whatever it is. So say I just filmed a video this morning. I literally don't even remember what the video was about. Using credit cards to buy hacks. So if you guys want to catch that video when it'll be out later this afternoon on how to use a credit card to actually buy hacks.
That's dope. Cool video.
But so say you do a video, right? I just did a video on that. It's 15 minutes long on how to use your credit card to buy hacks. Now, as soon as that video is done, this is what I used to do, and I can do better at it. And I'm glad you're inspiring me to do this. Then I pull my phone out as soon as I'm done recording, and I talk about that. Hey, have you ever thought about using a credit card to actually get into crypto? Stop. You can use this, blah, 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 and do a 60-second short form video recapping what I just did. But a lot of times in a 15-minute video, there's 3, 6, 7, 8, 10 points that can be made into short video. So I can take a 15-minute video and I'm like describing this to you because this is what I was used to doing, and I can get back into it. So this is actually inspiring me to do a better job at this. So thank you. As soon as you're done with a live stream, if you have a piece of notepaper, right, and you write down 6 things you thought were interesting, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? First thing was Sam was talking like a clown. Okay, cool. Let me make a video about that, right? Crazy Whack Job talks about crypto, like, you know what I mean? And you just make a video about that. And then you talk about, hey, did you know that there's a way to win 100,000 tokens completely free? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to explain how to do that in this video, right? There's video number 2.
All right, so wait. When you do that, so let's say I wanted to do that, right? What's the best way to project your face and have stuff that you're clicking through in the background while you're clicking through it?
For what? Where are you thinking of producing this content? Where do you want to put this content?
Like, just it would be a reel more so, or like one of my short form reels under 3 minutes. Like, because the ones that you do that are kind of like, hey, blah 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 about this subject, blah 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 about that subject, and it's behind you that the whole thing. Do you do that afterwards? So do you put the thing up first, right? And then afterwards you come in and explain and put your face in, right?
So there's an app, so you can use TikTok that does it, but then it has a watermark on it. So TikTok has another production.
I know how to take the watermarks off, by the way.
Okay, so use TikTok then, and if you get into TikTok, there is a option in here where once you get into here, you can click effects. And then you put picture, and you can put a screenshot behind it.
Gotcha.
So like this thing, I'm going to try to pull it up here and then share it with you. So I'm showing how to do this video. And then, can you see this?
Kind of like this, Sam?
You could, yes, you can do it that way, or you see how this is almost like a green screen. I have a picture up in the background of me working out.
Which option is it?
So if you get into TikTok, the bottom right hand corner, you see how there's one option that says effects?
Yep, I'm in there.
Okay. Yep. So once you click effects, click the green option with like a picture with a down arrow.
I got it.
So click that, and then above an option comes up with like pictures above it, right? Click one of those pictures.
Yeah, I see.
And then it comes up like this. So you can do a video, and I'll show you again. This is a new one. Is this what you were looking for in terms of the production? GRC.
Hold on. Yeah, I got it.
You can like this. This is what you're looking for?
Pretty
this
much.
Style? Okay.
Well, more so like with it in the corner in just a square, but yeah.
So you can do the same thing go to the effects, just pick a different one of those green ones with the arrow.
There's so many options. I wish they would cut the options down a hair. and like put the ones that were more so like very important on the top, because there's like 150 options in there. Half of them are like unicorns.
But there's no universal definition of what's very important, because what's important to you is not important to me. What's important to me is not important to somebody else in the comments.
You know what's really, what up, Wales? How you doing, brother? I'm gonna
what's up, Wales?
Anyone who wants to come in and say what's up just for a minute, anyone who has never been on the show, we're going to do a little 20 minutes, 30 minutes here where someone can come on and say, hi, you got any points, anything you like about the show, any suggestions for the show, any suggestions for us in general. Sam just got cut out. He was probably just freaking lost his connection. But I'm the 12th subscriber. Hey. So, yeah, I threw that link in there. If anyone wants to jump in, you do not have to jump in if you don't want to, of course. Don't dox yourself or do anything funny. That would be ideal. I'm just clicking through, seeing where Sam went real quick. Hold on one sec. I'm going to put this be right back thing up. Jamie, if you want to put that up real quick. Oh, never mind. Sam's back.
My bad. I accidentally got out of there, I think, or something happened.
You good?
Go ahead. You were saying something.
I love you guys in the most non-gay way possible. Thanks, Hex Papa. Hexican Papa has been here since day one. Or, maybe not day one, but like as long as I can remember.
Why don't you ask him how his diet stuff is coming along? How is the workout stuff?
Yeah, and anyone with a diet question, anyone with any kind of question, if you want to use this as a resource for crypto or diet or anything, come on and ask a question or ask it in the comments. Sam's going to read through some comments real quick.
Yeah, and so perfect. Exactly. That's great, because I was just pulling up a comment here. Hex Travel. So he goes on to say, so before that one, it was a little up a bit. So like a short video of the gym, but talk about Hex, PulseX, or PulseChain. 100%. And
I love that.
So you can, if right, Crypto Stylist was on earlier, you can use what we were just talking about with the TikTok app to create that why you like follow those directions. Hopefully she sent that to GRC, so that should be in the description of the video later. And you can use that to create the TikTok of that. And you could create one of those every single day to increase the odds of you actually winning. Dan, you started uploading content to this channel like 2 months ago. 100%, Hector.
So basically, this is how it went. Here, I'll pull myself up for one more second. I was about to use the bathroom, but this is how it went. I did one YouTube live because I wanted to learn how to use StreamYard. That's the only reason I did it. That was 2 months ago. So I did one. That one actually got a lot of freaking likes somehow. Everyone goes back and watches your first video. Anyway, so it got a lot of traction right away. Somebody retweeted it and it was working, and Motley was in there or something. And I was like, I'm going to stream by myself. And I was flexing and freaking out. And I was having such a fun time. And, then I gave it like 2 weeks off. I was still working like a slave. And I think I did 5 episodes before I quit my job. And I was like, I cannot do both of these things. I was just like the energy. I was dying. I was literally dying. Like
we were talking, and we had done, I think, a couple of videos together or something. And then you're like, dude, I just quit my job. Like, I just didn't want to do that anymore.
Like, no, like, fuck it, dude. Like, when you love something, guys, never take another moment to think about what you should be doing. Now, if you love gambling or something, yes, you should take another moment to think about it. But like, if you love a subject that has weight and depth and it holds value, it's your duty as a human in this chat to express yourself and to go for it.
And you should just go for it in life, in my opinion. Hexograph.
I don't think you need any. I did maybe 100 max, because I was doing it at 100.
You need, in order to monetize a channel, you need 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 hours of watch time. So in order to just put like ads up or like get super chats, you need those like boxes to be checked. But other than that, no. Did Styist select? What was that question? Did Styist select someone for
about an NFT? We are going to be having a couple whales in the house. Good morning, whales. Thank you for all you do for the community, as always. Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on yesterday and sharing your information.
Very nice. And then he did a stream. Did he do another stream? No, that was this morning I was watching. No, fuck. I'm sorry. I was passing out last night. I had a couple of beers last night, and 3. and they were Bud Lights, and that was 300 calories. And I was thinking about 300 calories of beer, and I was like, that's really not that much. I felt like I was comfortable with it. Like, you know what I mean?
How often do you have
Only
a
if
drink?
there's alcohol around, or like I buy someone because someone's coming over, then I'll like finish it the next day. But I'll never like buy it. Like I usually wouldn't leave and be like, I'm going to go buy alcohol so I can drink it. But like if it's there, like I will opportunistically drink it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's why I don't keep that shit around at all. For me personally.
But yeah, no, but it's usually just like, oh, my buddy's coming over. Like I'd like to have some beer so I can like be a nice, like, here, you want a beer kind of fucking shit.
Yeah, I
And then they never end up drinking.
There's a faucet right there. Cups are in the cupboard. You want some water? Go ahead.
Dude, I drink only tap water. I'm sorry. Is that bad, Sam?
I mean, I'm doing the same
Give me
thing.
your,
now.
like deep dive, red pill, alpha, conspiracy theory.
So what you can do, I had the water tested a while back. There's definitely shit in my water. But do you, so you have that option, right? You're like, okay, I can get it coming from the city, right? The city pipes for the water. But you can buy bottled water, right? And then you're like, okay, says it's BPA free, which is cool. Well, there's other things besides BPA that also fuck your shit up and leach into the water, especially depending on if it's stored in light and the temperature and stuff like that. So you have those two options. The other, this is the route I'll be going probably this summer, for probably $1,000, and depending on if you do the work yourself, but you can put a filtration system. I think somebody mentioned this. You can put a filtration system by your hot water tank for the entire house. My buddy did it at his house.
Oh wow!
So your hot water tank, you just drop the pipe.
Shit. You're saying I could do it at the source from the basement?
Yeah, and it's super easy if you've never done plumbing shit. Like I'm not saying anybody should do it, but it's
plumbing shit before.
So you've done stuff because of the last job you had. I'm sure you had to do some stuff with.
I did a lot of plumbing stuff at my job. I was in construction.
Same shit.
Yeah,
same thing. It's same, like you're just not using like PVC.
You cut, you slice, use a certain glue. That's it. Like, and then you get a connector piece of whatever specifics it is. Plumbing is hard. There's a lot of parts of plumbing is hard. Redirecting plumbing is hard. Like making it sit there efficiently, but like plumbing as a microcosm is not hard. But you definitely, once you start moving in shapes and stuff, like if you don't know what you're doing, you're fucked.
And more, I'm not even slightly trying to make it sound like plumber who knows like 1,000x more than what I do.
$500 for my AC unit, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it myself.
Yeah, I can hook you with my buddy, but he's not here. But he might be able to point you in the right direction on how to find that, so you can do it yourself. But yeah, like we used to
sell this bitch, dude. Fuck it.
I used to have a landscaping company. And it was myself, my brother, and we had like several guys that worked for us. We were doing some sprinkler work in the landscaping company, and I grew the company substantially, like 5 or 6, 7x in a very short period of time. And during that time, I would be taking on jobs literally that I had no idea how to do, because I knew that I would just figure it out as I went along. By the way, you guys should challenge yourself to start doing things like that. If something scares you, you don't know how to do it, you'll figure it out. Just like there's just-in-time inventory, there's just-in-time learning. There's this thing called the internet where you can learn whatever the fuck you want. And so I would take on all these jobs I had no idea how to do, including like fixing sprinklers and stuff like that, which at the time I had no idea how to actually do that. So we're fixing the sprinkler, and then she keeps adding on more and more stuff, right? And it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, like we'll figure out how to do that. And the work that the person had done before didn't do it properly. So that's why she wanted us to come in and correct the work from the other person. So I'm going in there to do that. And somebody ends up, I don't know what the circumstances were with the pipe, but we ended up having to get to the main pipe coming in from the street. And when we uncovered it, like whatever that piece is, this is how little I actually know about plumbing, right? But goes over the pipe to put the sleeve piece of it, that just shot off. It just wasn't like connected properly, and it was underground 2 feet or something like that. So it just maybe held it together, or maybe just a little bit of a leak came apart. Water all over. This whole lady's backyard was flooded within like 10 minutes of it going off. It was absolutely insane. This is our users. You serious? I like the name. Are you serious? I've been watching you guys for a while. First time chat. What's up? Thank you for getting in the chat. I have no idea what a furu is. Maybe I'm one for asking this question. You, sir, are definitely, or ma'am, are definitely not a furu. Furu probably has a bunch of different definitions, but it's somebody. What's your take on a furu? A furu is somebody talking about shit that they don't know about. Like
it's a fake guru, so it's just literally called a fake guru. So a furu, in my eyes,
pull yourself up.
In the bodybuilding world, it's more so like someone that's just lying. No, in the bodybuilding world, it's just someone saying the shit that's not true. Usually, they'll say like, if you intermittent fast, you're gonna get more ripped or something. Like furu is just someone who's saying like something that's clearly not true to someone who's a real bodybuilder. But to me, a furu but people are transparent about getting paid in that community. Like they're not, if you have a sponsor in the fitness community, no one puts you down for it, right? Like everyone's like, that's lit. It's amazing. But in the crypto community, everyone has financial incentives to do things and they just lie and say that there's no financial incentive to do this and that they're doing it for a different reason. Like they're saying, I'm doing this because I want adoption of PulseChain. Like that's just the example. That's like the overall ethos. Like I want adoption of PulseChain, but this is what my actions show. My actions show one thing, but my mouth says another. Like that's what a furu is to me, because everyone knows what the truth is, but people bend their speech to benefit themselves. And we don't bend our speech here. We try. It's human.
You're right. There's a lot of people who talk about they won't be open and honest about how they're making money. Like I don't give a shit how people. Like I'll tell you exactly how I'm making money.
You could have said you were a millionaire and everyone would have just been, or like multimillionaire. You could have just lied and said everything. But people, if you want to have impact and weight in this world, you can't do that. You can't, because that'll put you in a position emotionally where you can't grow. You have to be able to grow. And in order to grow, you basically have to at least be at baseline, like emotion, right? Like you can't be completely out of emotional whack and expect to grow. So
it takes so much more work. Like, if you're, I had an interesting thought this morning when I got out of the shower. I believe whatever you put out there comes back to you, right? And people like, oh yeah, I believe that. But then you look at their actions, they're completely different. And when you think about it, what you put out into the world is what you get back, and you try to like distill it down from like it's this grandiose idea. Well, like what's something really, really, really practical that I could take a look at as an example to understand that what I put out into the world is what I get back. And you can try this example today. Next time you're with your partner or friends or colleagues at work or people in the gym or anything, why don't you try going over there and attacking them and just completely attacking them in an aggressive manner verbally and watch what you get in response. So in the one sense, if you do that, you already know how they're going to respond. Now, if you do the same thing and you go to your partner and you give them, a honest, genuine, thoughtful, caring response about something about them that you appreciate or that you care about, then that's funny thing. That's what you get in response. That's two super, 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 super simple ways to understand what you put into the world is what you get back out of the world. So when you're saying things and here that you're saying things out of spite and you're saying things because you're judging other people and you're saying things with your ego involved and you're saying things to hurt somebody else and to try to pretend like you're fucking special, recognize that that's what you're going to get in response.
Exactly. Remember when I used to bitch at you because all these girls would be effing with me, but I was effing with all of them all the times too? And you would never bring it up, but you were always just like, dude, like, but I was just venting more so. Like I knew I was in the wrong generally. Crypto.
But you have to be honest.
No, it took me a while to get honest with you, and you knew it, and I knew it. Like you knew I had to get honest with you. I knew I had to get honest with you, but I was like, had to work through it, right? Like the whole like telling somebody I've used PEDs before, that took me a long time. And now I could give an absolute fuck.
But don't think about where you are mentally now versus where you were then. How much stronger you are.
Untouchable now, as far as emotionally comparatively.
And this is just the beginning, bro.
It's insanity.
Like this is just the beginning. You follow that.
Absolutely insane. I've never felt this free in my life. Things can go wrong, very wrong, but I can never will have learned what I learned in the last month.
It's crazy. And I imagine that if I went with Hex Orca to the jungles of Peru to do ashwagandha, that would be a crazy learning experience as well. Is ashwagandha DMT? Is that what that is?
No.
I've done DMT.
They are not the same.
Well, I think there's let me pull that up.
DMT is that brain chemical.
Correct. Isn't that what's in ashwagandha?
Ashwagandha? Are you talking about?
Well, what he just said right there.
Wait, what's it called? Ashwagandha. Remember, dude, what's that? Ayahuasca. Ashwagandha is that tea. You dummy. Dude, that's so funny. Because I was like, no way. I was like, I used to
DMT. Okay, DMT. Yes. So it is DMT. It is DMT. Yes.
I don't know if that's true. Did you look it up?
I just looked it up. The major psychoactive ingredient in how do you say that word?
It's an abstract. It's an abstract of it. So it's ashwagandha is one of them, and then don't say a word. I want to say this right. Ayahuasca.
That is correct. Ayahuasca. So ayahuasca, I've smoked DMT before, and holy balls! Like, you know how there's a come up on.
Clip that shit. I have smoked DMT before, and holy balls.
So, thank you, Hex Orca, for explaining that. So, when you do DMT, you know how if you have a couple beers, it takes you to a. So this person says ashwagandha. So ashwagandha versus what Orca was talking about, two different things. Ashwagandha is like
ashwagandha tastes like trash. I used to,
but that's the supplement, right?
Yeah, it's a supplement.
Yes.
I used to.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought it would boost my tea.
What Orca was talking about is something completely different. So I smoked this, and you know how when you drink, it takes time to get drunk, right? Like maybe even if you're doing shots, it might take you 30 minutes before you're shit-faced. If you're smoking weed, right, you might have to smoke like a little while before you get drunk or like high, and maybe that's like 10 minutes or something. With DMT, you take a hit and you're fucking gone. There's no come up. There is zero. It is like a light switch where you're there and then you're gone. I can tell you about. I have no idea what it does. I can tell you about my experience, but like I have no idea.
At your what did it feel like at your best or like most as good as you can remember?
So I'm sitting there on the sofa. It's got weed and I very rarely smoke today, but that has the DMT on top of it. And you take a hit of it.
I think you're talking about a different freaking thing. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude.
No, it's DMT.
You sure?
Positive.
You sure it wasn't what is that shit that used to sell at stores? It was called Spice.
No. This is completely different.
No, but you know there was that one other thing that they used to sell at stores, but it was really hardcore. I did it when I was little. It's like Spice. It's like fake weed, basically. But it's like fucking crazy. Like it makes you fucking freak out. But DMT is definitely
correct. This DMT, this is more accurate.
Life-changing.
Space case. So yes, like I've never, ever even come close to having the same type of experience that you had with DMT.
Is it something that you would like enjoy, or is it more of just an experience?
It is psilocybin. It is way better than psilocybin, in my opinion.
Well,
way better.
That's biased because you didn't have a good experience.
But I've done mushrooms many times. There was one experience.
You have? I didn't know if you've done it many times.
Well, I did that one with 11 grams. Like, wouldn't do that again. But I've taken like 2 or 3 grams like multiple times.
I won't do any of that shit.
But DMT. So I'm sitting there. You take a hit DMT and you pull the whole thing in, and you're literally on the sofa smoking there. And you're gone. You are not in the same place anymore.
That's what Tyson says.
Your essence of like what you are as a human is not in the same spot at all. Bright. You go to this like you're here for a second, and then the light changes, and you're not here anymore. You're completely out of this world, and you're into. At least I was in a spot where it was almost kind of like a space type of environment with like all these bright, crazy colors is nothing else. That comment is accurate. The DMT is like nothing else in the world. It's even hard to describe the effect of DMT. It is, I wasn't there physically in this form as a human anymore. And it's very difficult to describe that. It completely different than
I'm very pissed off that I can't think of this drug that I used to freaking buy at the store with my friends, and you would sprinkle it on weed and it would put you on a planet nuclear, but I know they were different. Like this was way synthetic. This was not like anyway, who cares? But it was like a 15-minute or a 5-minute thing. Like you would smoke it and you would just go crazy. Or salvia, that's what it was. Yo, you ever done any of that shit?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So watch.
Isn't salvia? Salvia's like sugar.
Dude, this shit, they don't sell this shit anymore, dude. This shit was whack, dude. This shit used to be on the counters, and guys like me were getting their hands on it. Bad.
Orca. I don't know how some like think about that experience for me. So it lasts like 20 minutes, maybe.
Most dangerous drug, top 21 list. They used to sell this shit all over the stores, and they used to say it was potpourri, and I would eat it.
And you get fucked up?
Yeah. Salvia drug. Yeah, no, but they would sell it as drugs, but they would say it was just potpourri.
Is DMT in salvia? Hexographer says that DMT is in there.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking when you were comparing and contrasting those two things, I think we were not. Ayahuasca is not. I didn't think, but it could be because I don't know much. But
ayahuasca in the way that Orca was talking about is it like a tea that you're going to be drinking. So like if you're smoking DMT, you're gone.
This is what you used to buy from the stores right here.
Par. I don't think I've ever tried that. Par though. Par excellence. In anything you do, it's going to change your life in terms of like your perspective to some degree or another. But wasn't like. It's not like. Psilocybin, like taking 11 grams of mushrooms for me was like something that I was like, okay, definitely never, ever do that again, kind of thing. But like with DMT, it's a very cool, like, so when I was back in my body, I was on my sofa and it was a very like beautiful experience in the sense that like I was just overwhelmed with emotions. Like you know how like people talk headily, right? About how they are in there's like a vibration to everything, right? There is, right? But it's more of a conceptual thing that you can't like visualize, right? Everybody has a vibration. There's
I agree with it. More I get older, you feel it a little more.
So when I took DMT, I could see that vibration when it came back. Everything had a vibration to it, and everything was these beautiful like rainbow colors, and you could see this emotional state that was just the walls, everything had its own vibration in the sense of like the colors and everything was like moving all at the same time together, and it was all connected in a way that was like I just even describing it, you can't see it on video because the quality's just not high enough, but I like have goosebumps from remembering.
That's why Rogan fucking preaches about it, not to do it. He doesn't preach to do it, but he preaches about the transformative experience, which was from that trip for him the first time, and he's done it other times since. But rich people can do it in a very, very. It's cool the way these rich people do drugs because they talk about it on their show, so I kind of like pay attention. They do it in very controlled environments now. Like they do it as a therapy almost. Like Rogan's made it almost like a therapeutic event, and it's like almost like they're selling the event.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it if it was 100% controlled, and everyone told me there's no way anything dangerous can happen.
Well, that's why when you do it in Peru, they have it in Peru in I had a buddy do it in Peru recently, like last year, I think it was. But when you do it in that type of environment, there's a shaman or like a priest or like somebody that's supposed to help guide you through the process, because my experience is like 30 minutes. Now imagine drinking a tea, and that experience lasts for 8 hours.
Should come on. I feel like Orca knows all about this shit.
DMT breakthrough will dissolve the human ego, offer a timeless plane of reflection and introspection, rejuvenate and innovate neutral neural pathways. Yes, that is a very deep sentence, and it is unlike anything that I've ever done, and I've done a lot of fucking shit in my life. It's unlike anything ever experienced before. DMT is the chemical that's released when you're born and when you die, I believe. Somebody can let me know if that's accurate in the statements, but I believe it's the same chemical that your body experiences or creates when you're dead or when you start to live. And it's maybe, right? DMT is like the kind of gateway between the physical form of human, right, what we call ourselves human, and the spiritual or whatever you want to call that realm. And the DMT is like the pathway into that other realm of existence that we don't understand.
Finding Jim was talking about this freaking crypto that was blowing my mind yesterday. I cannot remember what the fuck it was. Guys, was anybody in the chat yesterday when Funding Jim was in there? He was talking about a good coin that would fork over and have some good use case, but I can't remember which one he was talking about. Can anyone remind me if they remember? Hexagrapher, you might have been there. J for J33 Everlasting. Jim Rat, I drop by occasionally and hear you speaking better and swearing much less. I swear the swearing was why I jumped on you a couple weeks ago using the word messed up rather than the F-bomb. Yeah, I'm working on that. I actually am trying to work on that a little bit. Being more calm while I'm on stream, you know, not letting it be as much of an emotional spike so I can stay regular. No, it wasn't Maximus. It was something, it was one. Damn it. That sucks that I don't remember that. Orca, I sent you a link if you want to come on and talk about drugs.
There's a lot of stuff I'm looking up right now. I think that near DMT to see when that experience happens, but it was it's a very interesting compound. I'm not saying you should do drugs. Like I don't even drink at this point.
It's more fun to learn about drugs than it is to take them sometimes.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to focus on the shit in your life that is like far more valuable, like in terms of applying effort in that direction to making your life a better life than taking drugs. Like,
yes, taking drugs. The only thing about drugs that is horrible that people don't understand is if you take drugs more than once, most drugs, not all drugs, but if you take drugs more than once that aren't really naturally in your system, your dopamine receptors downregulate, and then everything else in your life is not as fun. Therefore, Sam won't go on a walk. If he takes Adderall every day, he won't go on a walk and enjoy it when he's not taking Adderall because his brain will be asking for more dopamine, and he'll be like, we're just going for a walk. You have to kind of down-regulate your system, don't you, Sam? To make you more sensitive to things like drinking a cup of tea or going to the gym, rather than everyone has these emotional spikes because they're either getting hammered or having wild sex. You know, it's not enough for them, right? If they're not. At least this is what it was like for me. It's like I could never just be in the moment and chill because it was always like my mind was always on some dopamine rush that I was chasing. And now I have to just always, I'm like, I don't need to get up there. I can get excited, but like there's no reason to blow off top because I'm going to have emotional recoil from that.
Well, I think once as you continue to evolve and grow, if there's any type of like similarity to how the path that I've grown on or I've seen other people grow on, is that as you continue to take more responsibility in your life and for the direction of your life, that both is financially speaking, relationship speaking, but also emotions, because you create the emotions in your life. You go through. I've taken lots of fucking drugs in my life, but like today I barely even have a glass of wine. Like I had a glass of wine last night with my girlfriend, and like that's not something that happens super frequent. So like I don't like when you first started doing your stuff online, I would text you. I was like, hey, I'm stopping smoking weed. I'm not smoking weed anymore. Right? It just slows me down, and I don't need any of these. They're cool, they're fun, but like I don't need those things to feel high because I feel like I'm high on life. Like I get so excited about these things.
I'm starting to feel it when I wake up for the first time. Like I want to get on my computer and I want to make some videos and I'm excited and it's natural and I don't think about smoking and I don't think about drinking and I don't even think about coffee sometimes. I just get to my computer and I'm like, guys, hold on 1 second before we do anything. Throw up a bicep real quick, Sam.
What's up?
How
What's
you
up,
doing,
brothers?
brother?
Dude, the production quality is just like
It's parabolic.
exponentially. Yeah, bro. It's parabolic for
Parabolic.
sure.
There's Jamie or Bullish in the background who's been helping out. So that is
Producer Bullish is in the background, guys.
Very
Everyone
cool.
give Producer Bullish a freaking follow. He is up in the trenches learning about crypto, helping guys like me out. Absolute stud, good, great guy in every single way.
So Orca. Well, there's a comment from JR here. I want to read it and I wanted to ask you a question. This is from JR. When I stopped the weed, I started remembering my dreams, and that is what saved me. So I know we were just talking about DMT and that kind of thing, right? And like drugs are cool and fun and everything, but
Sure.
I'm at that point in my life where I don't even want to bring in things in, like I guess I haven't smoked in 2 months, right? And not that I would smoke that often either. It would be like my buddy was like, hey, here's some shit for helping me out. Like I would never actually purchase it for myself. And the same thing for like alcohol and that kind of thing. Do you feel that stuff slows you down in terms of a distraction from your objectives that you want for your life?
So I can answer that personally and also just like what I think I see generally. So personally, I have a pretty healthy respect for substances and the different uses of them, you know, beyond even just recreational enjoyment. So they don't play a detracting role in my personal goals. Although I think when I was younger, especially like, you know, in undergrad, right, when everyone wanted to go out drinking, like that was an obvious detraction that I could have been way more productive at that time. Weed smoking, however, is like it's hard to talk smack on it because the culture is like so positive. Because when you compare it to other poisons like alcohol, it's way more positive.
But when you smoke weed, so for me, it slows me down, like such to the point where it's like I just have so many things that I want to accomplish in my day that like even if I get like there's everything on my list done, there's still like so many more things that I could possibly work on to move closer. Like I feel like in my mind, it's like running out of time in terms of my life, right? And that slows me down.
And that may also be a factor of the psychotropic effects of THC, right? Because some of us just process that differently. And especially, I know that you're a go-get-it guy and you're high tempo and high effort. So you're sort of fighting that natural resistance in the case of like an indica. If you're going to be inducing sort of a relaxation substance and then you still want to or need to go 100 miles an hour, maybe those conflicting energies lead to sort of a cognitive like conflict, right? Where your mind starts to create anxiety in the void of not accomplishing the pace that you were hoping to keep that you likely probably could have kept without the, you know.
I have strong takes on marijuana myself as a I hate being honest about everything in my life. As a person who smokes weed too much, let's just say that, as far as I'm concerned, my experience with smoking weed is a little bit different than most people's because I smoked I smoked weed every day until I was 19 for 4 years, and then I stopped for 6 years, and then I started again. So I have a lot of experience kind of going to and fro, like the full experience. Because when I'm usually smoking, it's kind of like it's either something I do or something I never do. So my experience is that you can enjoy your life just as much and have more fun and more success when you are not smoking weed all the time, in my opinion. But if you can have a relationship with marijuana that's absolutely healthy and you can just smoke and it doesn't bother your lifestyle, it doesn't really matter. Again, it's just what other people tell you, right? Like I always used to feel bad about weed until I got away from people that were telling me weed was bad, and now I don't really think it's bad. But everyone in my life when I was young was like, Scott, if you smoke weed, that's fucking bad. Like you're bad. This is horrible. Like this is really bad. You're in trouble. You're lying. This is bad. And I got so scared by it for so long, and now I'm at the point where it's like it might slow some people down a little bit, but it doesn't slow. Who's faster paced than me, other than you, Sam?
But go ahead. Orca.
So it's
I
a
was just gonna
personality
say-
type. Like it's a person. Like being upbeat and energetic is a personality type. Like I could smoke weed all day long and nothing changes with. Like I'll be working all day long, no matter what. But
So
I'm so stimulated in general. Like I wake up and I'm stimulated. That's the kind of person I am. I have a lot of extra angst all the time.
So-
Hold on real quick before I'm going to let you go. Literally, I'm sorry, but I literally.
I still think the sound there should be a toilet, like
Whales
flushing
only.
or something.
Whales only, everybody.
Whales, what's good, brother?
What's up, Wales?
He's muted, so
He's chilling. But he loves.
What I was gonna say,
He
real
loves
quick
talking about
was-
weed.
Oh, go ahead, Orca.
I was just gonna say, like, we've got thousands of years of human history with cannabis, so there's going to be people who there's going to be varied experiences, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of nuance whenever you've got thousands of years of biodiversity and genetic preferential alignments. So when you talk about like, it's hard for me to speak about different substances with any kind of a broad brush because I have too much experience with them and too many observed instances of others where the variety is so individualized that I don't think it's more likely that people's underlying behavioral traits such as substance abuse account for the majority of the lack of productivity or accomplishment as opposed to the inherent chemical compound of any given substance.
Do you like and this is more of a evolving thing over the last 24 months. Because when I was younger, I used to drink, 5-6 days a week and used to do other types of drugs. And then weed was never really a super big thing for me.
Sure.
But there would be other things that I would do. And as I've grown and matured and come to a more peaceful state between my ears, like the idea of utilizing something, even like caffeine at this point, like, and I've cut back the caffeine amount of usage, that alters my state when my state is so incredibly peaceful and beautiful as it is, that if I'm going through and altering that state, it's already amazing for me to start with. To think that something else is going to improve that or make that even better than where I already am, because I've been in these places, like I've gotten flagged off as fuck like so many times. It's not worth it to me at this point to do that.
No, I'm with you. I think that's a great point because it's easy to fall into those pitfalls. Some is good, more is better, but we forget the all things in moderation too often. So, but it's also difficult, I think. So I've seen some people are highly effective at the things that they're passionate about. I've seen chefs that run their own restaurant who are high all day, but it helps them with their passion with food and the smelling and tasting. And that's just something that operates well for them. But when I was in logistics, it'd be highly irresponsible for truck drivers to be smoking and driving. Even though I think, like, if I had a gun to my head, like, I'm pretty sure I can get to Taco Bell and back home safely while I'm high. But like, it's not smart when you start playing with other people's lives. As far as personal, like, I think that what you just said speaks volumes of how well you've treated your body and your mind and your soul. You sound like you've really taken life by the horns and put yourself in a position of great health. From a lot of different angles. So that's really cool to hear because a lot of people often lean on substances, right, as a filler or maybe a numbing sensation for emotions they don't want to deal with. But I used to drink. I don't really drink anymore. When I lived in Ireland, I drank every single day, alcohol, that is. So, but experiences with like magic mushrooms and things like that gave me a profound rewiring of the brain, if you will, where my relationship with substances evolved into a maturity where I no longer saw these tools as toys, and I saw them more as opportunities to induce alterations to that psyche under my own will. And that's not always necessarily a tool that I want to use. That's why I don't drink. I just don't want to use that tool. I don't do a lot of really great things while I'm drunk.
Have you ever thought about that? So how I see the world is that I'm the only one in charge of my emotions, right? So if you think about how powerful our mind is, or the placebo effect for like this conversation, right? Probably people understand that the mind is the most powerful tool you'll ever use. And the idea that using substances is, as you were saying, as a mask to move the state from where I currently am into one that is altered because of some type of substance, is that and this has been an evolving thing over the last couple of years, and I've never really, like for the last 10 plus years, it hasn't really been like I cut out drinking, then I cut out everything else, and one thing at a time. But I am the person who's driving the ship when it's emotion. So if I want to be experiencing some emotional euphoria, then I can go through and create that, right? If I want to go through and experience, love and caring, then I can go through and create those emotions, and getting to the state where it's like I'm 100% in control of those emotional states. So for me, and I'm not like, everybody's different and everybody's a different spot and everybody has different goals and objectives that they want to achieve. But it's like, if I want to achieve some like different emotional state that masks something, then to me, it's like I have an issue that I need to solve. And if I want to experience any type of emotions or feelings, I can just go through and create those by using the most powerful tool I'll ever be able to use anyway.
Sure. No, I totally respect that, man. And I think, because I also want to give Wales a chance to chime in, but
please.
I saw one of his comments regarding the endocannabinoid system. So
you caught that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's to me, and I'll let Wales speak to it, but that is an argument for the inclusion of cannabis in a regular regimen of habits.
Go ahead, Wales.
Very simply, I'm doing well, man. How you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Chilling.
I feel like because I was in the chat, I'm like, it's good enough. but let me say hi verbally.
That's for sure.
Appreciate you. And
what do you think? Can I ask you a question? Let me just ask you a question so you can have a thinking point. As far as, and I want to be as broad. Obviously, everybody's different, so that's going to be a factor in this. But like, what is your opinion about smoking weed regularly? So that would mean to me many times per day, rather than not doing so. Like, can you compare and contrast those things in your life? Do you think that weed, we can all talk about the lung damage that can happen from smoking a lot of shit, but like that's variable too by genetics. So it's hard to.
Yeah. So, all right.
So variable. It's kind of where I just get so confused about what's right and what's wrong.
This is why. Right, it's very simple. Everybody's body is different. What works for Sam will not work for Jim Rat. What works for Wales will not work for Sam. What works for Hex Orca will not work for Wales. We're all different. Some things might, some things might not. It's a process of elimination in my experience. What's good for you and what's not good for you. And I used to be the guy that was in the weight room and all of that shit back in the day, just like everybody else. And I no longer do that. I decided to go a different route with my health and fitness, and it's worked out better for me in that vein. But it's because that's only what I prefer. It's more of a mental game from that perspective. You see? So when it comes to smoking or whatever, I think it depends on how it affects you. Once again, because I literally smoke all day, every day, 24/7. And when I'm not here, I don't need to smoke all day, every day, 24/7. In fact, when I go to my country, I don't even smoke weed at all. I don't need to. It's not, I don't find a desire to, like, it does not require me.
Why, Wales, why do you feel like you need to smoke every day?
Here? It's easy to there's a lot of bullshit to deal with here. Just when you guys hear when I'm streaming, just all the noise in the background alone sets you off and you don't realize it, but it does. And this is something that I had to realize about myself. Like there's a lot of things that set me off because of a lot of the things that I've lived through. So I have to find a way to nullify my high aggressive nature because I'm very aggressive by default.
Do you think that's bad?
I think given this environment, it is.
What do you mean?
Because I live in New York, everything is high tempo, high pace. Nothing is slow. You have to be quick. You can't, like, there's not a moment to sit here and think about anything. Like, you have to be ready. You have to be ahead of the game always. Even when you're driving. Even driving is playing chess here. You can't even put your blinker on in most cases. You gotta just make the move. Like, put your blinker while you're making the move. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's how people live here. So that's the frame of mind you have to put yourself into when you step here. It's just weird. It's hard to explain.
I've lived in New York City. I used to live in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So do you feel like that puts you at a place where you, it sounds like, feel more comfortable in, like, quote, dealing with that? Or do you think that there's a possible future of, like, scenario where you're like, hey, I can deal with this without actually doing that, and I can still feel absolutely amazing like I do when I smoke?
The question is, do I want to? And the answer to that is no, because I'd rather put myself in a position of strength than a position of weakness.
And you think that smoking is a position of strength?
For me, from that perspective, when it comes to dealing with other individuals, which I do not like, yes. Like, I'm making a conscious decision.
So basically, you're saying that you still have to do shit in your life that pisses you off, and you're just biting the bullet and smoking weed.
Yep. When I go home, I don't have to do shit I don't like to do.
Gotcha.
At all. So the stress levels are like non-existent. Like, I sleep a full 8 hours. Like, it's weird. It's just a different lifestyle.
You have plans in the future to change your lifestyle in a dramatic way as far as location?
Location, yes.
Well, like, look, I mean, come on. When you leave this city, you have to change as a person a lot because of the noise level change.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
You're not going to have the same requirements.
Change your mind in a lot of ways, too, because you'll be like, wow, I haven't experienced no noise
in a long time.
In fucking 20 years.
Forever, or whatever, yeah.
So maybe it's a change of pace. Your whole tempo. You could have, because I can only imagine if I moved to somewhere that wasn't like it is here, that I'm a little high stress too. I smoke a lot of weed. Like, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with being in the city, but sometimes I'm just like, you know, stressful shit, whatever. But at the same time, I do it because I just get addicted to drugs. Like,
yeah, some people have addictive personalities.
Yeah,
I don't have an addictive personality. I have a personality that's like, I'm going to think the shit through before I do it in most cases. And for me, it's more of something I enjoy doing. So it's more of a mental crutch than anything else. I don't need to do it. I've gone home for months and not smoked anything, and my life hasn't changed. You're muted. You're muted, sir. There you go.
Do you think? Thank you. You use the word crutch. Do you think, like,
mental crutch?
Do you think
I'm aware?
But a crutch, right? What is the definition of a crutch for you?
Something that I use to help me. Because when I do things I don't want to do, I need help just like everybody else. Like, so let me explain. When I got out of the military, I had to find a way to not let myself go off the rails. Right? Because when you're living a high adrenaline lifestyle and going and reverting to one where there is none, it's impossible. It's still hard for me today, man, and it's been 20 years. So how do you find a way to focus your desire to engage your future, right? And it's difficult. It's not easy.
But then do you have, like, that saying, that cliche, right? To be successful is difficult, right? Financially speaking, but to be successful as a relationship is also difficult. But so is being broke, and so is being addicted to drugs, and so is all of these. Everything is life is hard.
Yeah.
We just the cool thing about being human is that we get to pick what hard thing we choose to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, for example, I spent the whole time I was in the military working for the feds, I rarely smoked, if ever. So I spent that much time living in a high stress life where I had to survive every day, not live, but survive every day, which is different than just living. Okay, because I would sleep with a weapon, I would sleep with all these things, so I had to survive 24/7. It's a different frame of mind than just waking up, going to work, and coming back, man, doing it all over again the next day. So going from that frame of mind to this, I look at people and I laugh because nobody understands that this is not stressful. This is nothing. And nobody's paying attention to anything because they let themselves get sidetracked with distractions. And that's because they don't know that that's what's happening. We only know what we know. So it's difficult to try to. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam.
No, I was muted. Did you, right? If you, the thing with drugs, from my point of view, is that it alters where I'm at, right? Because
alters your perception.
Correct.
Maybe even your desires.
Exactly. So when you and you think about that desires or those things right there, do you think for yourself that you're altering your reality in the sense because you don't want to face reality and deal with whatever it is that you need to deal with in your life to get past that thing so that it is not a crutch?
That's an interesting thing. I don't view it that way.
No, clearly, but that's why I asked that question, because you're seeing it in another way.
Yeah, I use it as a mellow mechanism because
I was going to say I kind of have a thought, Wales, if you don't mind, just listen to that. And
knock yourself out.
When he says a mellow mechanism, honestly, that's like another term for the orb. Like I think some people enjoy. First of all, we have the endocannabinoid system. It's natural. So cannabis has CBD, which is a very healthy rejuvenation for our immune system.
The THC is the opposite side of that coin.
And THC is the other side of the coin with the psychotropic effects. And I think that those of us that, one, respect the healthy properties of absorbing any cannabinoids, understanding the benefits it gives to our endocannabinoid system, then people who enjoy pondering thoughts or maybe, musing, they might enjoy the passive effects of the THC side of that coin. So it's a mutually beneficial tool.
So for me, I will say, now that after Hex Orca gave his little spiel, I don't feel like if it alters me mentally in any way. I will say that. I will say that it soothes my ability to deal with annoyances. It helps and enhances my ability to deal with
so that if it soothes your ability
it's a hard
to
word
deal,
to say.
if it soothes your ability to deal with the day-to-day, so to speak, then that's altering in some fashion, right? And I for Hex Orca, where you were just talking about musing, right? And depending on what you want to define as musing, but if you define musing as like the pondering of thoughts or thinking about things in a more conceptual or theoretical sense, right? I mean, to me, I can get to that place with a piece of paper and a pen, and I wasn't aware of this years ago, and I would use other things to get to that point.
Sure.
When I realized that I can just use my notepad and my pen and I can get to that same point, but it for me is way clearer because I'm not utilizing that thing that creates that like differential for me. And I think about the biggest for myself, like, because my goals are obviously different than everybody else's here, and which they should be, right? And the only thing that I want to focus on every day, like I don't give a shit about anything else other than growing. Period. Like that, I couldn't care less about anything else. Like people care about movies and sports and TV shows.
Just like I care what I care about every day. You care about what you care about, and that's right. That's exactly right. But you see, what is it that allows you to be able to do it in such a way that you don't need any? See, what you do is solo, right? In most cases, a lot of what I do involves everybody, whether I want to involve them motherfuckers or not.
But I bet I talk to more people than everybody watching this, and probably like in general, out of the four of us, I'm probably towards the top of how many people that I talk to per day. Like I literally have to block time for generally speaking that I literally just. But this is like I don't have no idea how many messages, like text messages. I have to block out for text messages. There's a whole thing for text messages, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, Telegram. Like this, the amount of notifications that I have here for like people to respond to, the quantity of the number of people that I speak to, that doesn't include like phone calls that I'm getting per day, is like if I utilize something else, it slows that down. And obviously you have different goals. You don't have the same fucking objectives.
Yeah, I don't have that issue. Like I can, like when I have a lot of people reaching out to me, they understand I'm not going to get back to them. I'm not going to get back to them right away because I'm doing all these other things that require my attention. So people are more patient, more understanding when they're reaching out to me and asking me any question. And sometimes I can reply right away. Sometimes I miss messages. So it just depends because a lot of what I do isn't even fixed. A lot of it is variable. Hell, a regulation might change that might force me to have to change a strategy with what I'm doing in real time. And I have to account for all that shit because what I'm doing involves two worlds that are not married together. So my goals are going to be different from that perspective in that I literally have to juggle people, not even situations. And it's a little bit more difficult, I think, because you're dealing with personalities. You're trying to get people to do things in a virtual reality. I can't walk over and be like, hey, Sam, tap you on the shoulder. Can you take care of this for me, bud? And like put that physical presence pressure on you. Like I have to keep emailing and calling and, it's a different dance. So how do you keep focused in your respective lane? I think is going to be different for every lane because it's going to require different personality types. Go ahead.
So for me, caffeine was the latest thing. Like I've been utilizing.
I've never been a caffeine drinker. See,
I've used caffeine pills since I was 19, just because I was like, I don't like coffee, and caffeine is so much faster way of accomplishing the same objective and without the damage to your stomach or your mouth or your teeth or anything like that. Then this is like the idea that I had when I was 19, 18 years old. So I've been just utilizing caffeine pills for, almost 2 decades at this point. So when Sam always responds, I respect that highly. Sweet. When for me,
I thought we were having a conversation.
We are. I thought we were too.
Yeah. It sounds like a conversation like that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so for me, that thing with caffeine, to let go of caffeine because I felt the same way. I was like, oh, it's helpful for me, right? Like same words or similar words that you're using, or that like I have friends who smoke every day. The similar words that they would use. I was using this around caffeine, and I was like, oh shit, look at this, bro. You need to wake the fuck up and do something about this. So I stopped doing that and I was like, I can stop at any time I want. I don't need this, right? These are the same exact things that you're talking about. I'm using for caffeine, and I've used for other things in the past. So I was like, okay, drinking. I already knew as soon as I turned 21, and I've been drinking before that. As soon as I turned 21, I was like, I'm only going to be doing this for a couple of years. This is a waste of my time and money. Right? Like this, I told friends that like in advance. I was like, it's just a waste of time and money. But the caffeine, I stuck with it. And being that the objective for me is just personal growth in 4 areas of my life that are important to me, right? So when I look at it and I was like, oh shit, I'm saying these things other people that I know are saying about weed or whatever their thing is. This is that for me. I need to do this to grow as a person, and that's how I love. And that is when I think about like my weakness, and I'm really honest with myself. The thing that I think is a potential weakness for me is the lack of awareness of something. So there's a perpetual like seeking in the peripherals of understanding of things that I need to take care of that I'm not focusing on. So I'm perpetually looking for things that I need to be taken care of in my life to improve my life in every single fashion that you can like conceive how life is. And I'm looking for those things to take care of in my life, to improve my life. And that perception that like, oh, this could be a weakness is because I'm not paying attention to something, allows me to actually have a greater expanse of the weakness, because then I'm like, oh, this is a potential weakness of mine. It allows me to actually see more of those things. Have you ever thought about doing something like that for 90 days, just to be like, okay, 90 days, I'm going to go back and live exactly the same way. But during that 90-day period, I'm going to try to learn as much and grow as much as I can during that period of time. And I'm not going to do this as a way to force yourself into growing, even if you decide to go back and do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, like challenging yourself type of thing. I've done that just in different ways. More with food than anything else. That's what I've done that with. Not with weed per se. Because again, the reason I use it for is not like as a crutch in the true sense. I use it more as a help me deal with people sense. Because that's really the hardest thing for me. So it helps me relax. It helps me understand that I gotta take it slow. In a lot of ways, it's weird. You know what I mean? Like it slows me down because I'm used to doing things 100 miles an hour. So like I'm sure you've heard me already go 100 miles an hour in the few times that we've talked, because that's just how I get. If I'm not being conscious of that, then I have to be. So when I smoke, it slows me down naturally so that I'm being kind of like this, where I'm being conscious of what it is that I'm thinking, what it is that I'm saying. It makes me more thoughtful, basically. And it's not that I don't want to be thoughtful when I'm not smoking. It's just that when you're in robot mode, you're in robot mode. And sometimes you can't control that when you're not slowed down. And that's kind of my thing.
Do you think that could be something, though, that's an opportunity that you're like, because you had mentioned it's like kind of being in, robot mode and not having the control over those things, like, and I don't care. Like we're having a conversation. Yeah, exactly. I'm not like 100%
I'm not feeling any type of way, brother. You keep lobbing it. Yeah. No worries.
Because so I'm like, okay, in how I'm looking at the world, I'm like, okay, if I had that perception of something where I felt that it was a robot, so to speak, where if you define like robot as in like you're not really in control, the robot is
I know what you mean. Like if it is a crutch, even though it's not. Like I know what you mean because you're trying to find where is that point where I can say no more. But that's the thing. I can always say no more. I choose not to say no more.
So, but that's where. Go ahead.
But I'm unique in that aspect.
But I was doing the same thing. I was doing exactly the same thing in different regards, so different parts of my life. Right. Exactly the same thing. Right, I have control. Right. I choose to do this. And really, it was just I was being blind to myself in the reality of like I wasn't taking. And I'm not saying this is for you and you need to take the perception of this at all.
No. I hear you.
I wasn't taking responsibility for that.
It's a valid point. But I that's why I know, like, because I go home frequently. And when I go to my home country, again, I don't smoke. I don't partake. So when I'm over there for weeks on end, sometimes a month and a half, 2 months, there's nothing I can do. Like I'm out of the game,
But question for you on that.
Life is different over there, though. I'm not doing the same things. I might be working, but that's about it because it's remote. But
is smoking over there a more challenging thing to do in the sense that you're living with somebody or you're around certain people? Or that it's much more strictly controlled legally?
No, it's the same thing as it is here. It's frowned upon, but everybody does it type of thing.
So what's your decision in terms of why? And then I want to hear your answer.
Different lifestyle. Just a completely different lifestyle. I don't have to do 90% of the things I do over here. When I'm over there that I do over here. At all. Like it's just different all the way around. The people
have you thought about leaving New York City?
Oh yeah, the only reason I'm still here is because I have to be. I would not be if I didn't have to be here.
What does have to be mean to you?
Cannot disclose that publicly, sir.
So, like from a contractual standpoint,
No. A life.
so then couldn't it be changed?
No.
I don't know. You can decide.
Yeah, we can talk about that specific aspect in the green room. But,
yeah, like.
But I won't disclose that publicly. But
no
yeah,
worries.
But yeah, I can't. If I could, I would. Trust me, because I was going to. I was in the process of leaving, and then whatever happened. And then I could not. So yeah, I got stuck.
I see. That's why I see friends of mine that like. They're like, oh, I can't. I like what you're doing, Sam, and how you live your life, and like, but I can't do that. I can't live that. But you can.
People think not. Let me tell you, I was born and raised in New York, and I never in my life thought I would not want to live in New York. I've been wanting to leave New York for at least 9 years.
So here's the thing. Why? Because where there's a will,
there's a way. I know. I'm working on it. Don't worry. Once I can make it happen, I'm gone. Don't get that shit twisted.
when if you have questions or I've lived all over the country. I'm sure you've lived plenty of places being in the military. There's so much you can, right?
That comment was hilarious.
Which one?
Oh, you missed it. What Machiavelli wrote that I'm serving a New York City life sentence.
You were sentenced to life when you were born.
Right. It feels like that. I got like a 10, 12-year break and then right back.
How many people are sentenced to life in their hometowns and they don't even realize it?
Yeah.
They never even
crazy,
think
isn't it?
about it.
Yeah. I at least get a leash to travel, so I can't complain. Real talk.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of traveling. I've seen a lot of things. I've done a lot of things. So I personally cannot complain about the life I've lived, even though it's been crappy. But you know why it's been crappy? Because I decided it to be crappy.
Correct.
We get what we want from life.
Correct.
Until I read that, I didn't realize it, and my life did not change.
Yeah, Wales has some crazy ass stories, dude. I've watched a lot of streams from Wales. Like, so you've been through a lot of random ass horrible shit.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, man. It makes you think.
It does. It's crazy. Just life is wild. I love it. I love that we're at this point where we can at least like come on a stream and like this is one of the best parts of this is the best part of my day. I mean, I like lots of parts of my days, but this is so fun for me to be on here. And I always tell people it's good to dumb your senses down a little bit so you can enjoy some stuff.
Yeah. Like that's why I had to let Sam know. Like I'm not feeling I wasn't feeling like you were doing anything. We were just talking. Because some people would take that the wrong way. That's why. That's why you even had to say that.
No, especially like. So you maybe there's a little. Some people can sense that like whether it's pride, whatever verbiage you care to use to describe the way that I ask questions or learn or experience how other people see things. But I want to understand the way people think, right? And I've always wanted to do that.
But I think it's fair to ask questions when you're curious about something. The person will let you know, hey, you're crossing the line. And I did it. I was like, hey, I can't answer that. Sorry. But I kept answering everything else. No problem. So
there's like plenty of times where I've been in social environments where the people are not super like they don't like you could probably sense that there's been like sometimes I can be in a way which challenges people and they don't like to be challenged and then they get like defensive. And
a lot of people are not used to having to defend their position.
Or it doesn't even need to be defensive. Like it's in defensive here and
they
literally
went that way.
Correct. Because they're not owning up to shit in their own fucking life.
That's right, sir.
And then when you're like, well, why are you doing that shit? And they get defensive when really you're just being curious.
It's important to have friends that can admit stuff, right? Like if your friends are always just like, no, it's my way. This is the way I was taught. This is the way that's right. And you just don't be friends with those guys because they just don't move with the tide. Like you got to move and you got to change in this world. And you got to know that the people that are the best off are the ones that know they have a lot to learn, like I always think I got a lot to learn in bodybuilding. There was never a day where I was like, oh man, there's not a lot to learn. Like ever since I was 15, 16. And even today, there's like, if I went back to it, it would have been just like crypto. If you go on vacation from crypto for 1 month, you no longer know crypto.
Yeah, shit
And like if
changed.
you go on a zero tolerance, don't look at your phone, don't look at nomics, don't look at Twitter, don't do anything, you are no longer a guru if you were one 30 days ago, because shit changes in 30 days in crypto. Like it can, at least. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. But it
That's
can.
the thing. That's the thing. If you're not paying attention, it will.
Hedron's at a 6x, and people are, you know, the ones that didn't want to claim, you know, stuff like that. Even stuff like that where you could have claimed free money. You take a month off and you got 10 times the deal of just free money because something was going on. Good or bad. Like,
Orca, you were going to say something?
Yeah, man. I was actually going to ask you, Sam. Now that you don't particularly go in for like any substances, right? Don't particularly, wow, the word is tough. Particularly drink or smoke anymore. Did that trend of setting aside substances occur before or after your experiences with DMT? Do you recall?
After, but like there was it's been a journey. So like even when I was like 17 or 18, when I first started drinking alcohol, I was homeschooled, right? So I wanted to like go experience things that like I thought other people were experiencing, and going out and partying was one of those things. And then around 18, I went to jail for 6 months for stupid shit that I was doing. And so at that time, I knew like as I got out of jail, I knew that like there were so many stupid things that I saw friends of mine that were doing with alcohol. And I had like, I think a grandpa or somebody that like had died of alcohol because they just don't know how to fucking control themselves.
Yeah.
And I knew at that point that like alcohol for me was only temporary. And then the same things like drugs had never just been super interesting to me, to the point where it's like I just have so many other things that I want to accomplish that the drugs were slowing me down. I've used the DMT, like cocaine, all sorts of like Percocets, all that. Like I mean, the list is just long, right? All this different shit. And I'm not saying anybody like should do any of these or it's an intelligent idea to do them, but that was just my path. And the more that I've gotten more peaceful here and stronger here, the easier it is to just be like, wow, that's actually slowing me down from the things that I want to accomplish in life, right? Like we also mentioned going through and deciding to live a great life, and that's how I'm, you know what I mean, be able to do that is by seeing those things and letting.
That's ultimately what you got to do, right?
Yeah,
there's no substance that can make you choose to live a positive life.
That's right.
And any in like, so for me, I have 4 areas that are important. These are the only 4 areas that I actually give a shit about in my life.
Okay.
Mental health and growth there. Physical health and growth, right? And the variation, right? Like, because people are like, oh, Sam's really muscular, right? So it's not just physical size, right? So this is like, you know, I stretch every single day, or like
flexibility.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because people think that it just happens because you go to the gym and lift some weights. All right.
Mobility, dude. I was on the
Clearly
floor
not
for
how it
45 minutes before, and I don't do mobility like Sam does. He's a guru compared to me. But even at my age of 28, I'm 35, 40 minutes doing yoga stretches. You know, not super anything crazy, but I'm doing every sort of stretch to get loose for the day, because I know because what something I always think I'm such a dude. Like I always think like, what if something happens? I gotta chase someone down. I always think like, or something.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. When I was in the military, I was 18 at this point in time. We was running a 6-mile loop or some bullshit like that. I can't remember what it was. I, 16, 17, 18-year-old hot shit, man, playing baseball, basketball, football. You can't tell me nothing. Stretch for what? But I didn't take into account what? The fucking 100+ degree weather and how it was going to affect my body at all. Because guess what? I wasn't in the U.S. I was in fucking Iraq running 6 damn miles in 100+ degree weather in the middle of the motherfucking day. So,
but that you're bringing up such a good point, Wales, that like on the stretching thing, but that has the same, the rock into the pond that creates a splash that has a ripple throughout the rest of the pond as a metaphor for your life,
right?
How weed affects your life. Like I'm 1,000 times stronger Like if like we were gonna do something and somebody's smoking weed relative to me not smoking weed, I'll fucking destroy that person. Just because I'm so much clearer of mind today than I was. Like 1,000%. Like way, like it's not even comparison. Even to the point where it's like in my journaling that I can notice those things from like 3 months ago. Sometimes less than that, but when you look at it, put things into perspective on a block of a quarter, for me, it's so easy to see how much stronger I am than 3 months ago. And there's that ripple effect. So then I stop here in the one area, and then it helps me in my relationships, both like intimate, but also you guys here, or like fucking 75 messages that I got to get to, right? Or all those other things. It helps me in all those other areas. So like the same, we were talking about stretching. So I'm going to be.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't stretch before this run, and I paid for it dearly. To this day, my hamstring still fucks with me because I didn't stretch properly that one time. Do your stretches, folks.
Yep. Your ankles, your wrists.
That's the moral.
Your ankles, your wrists, very important. I have a completely bum foot. I
will spend a solid half an hour stretching before I warm up, to then stretch before I actually go run.
You sound like an old piece of shit, Wales.
Yeah, funny, right? It's funny, but then when I'm running, I'm fucking flying. Because my body is limber, it's loose, it feels good.
Hell yeah, man.
You know, it's just a different feel.
I'm going to do a split by the end of the year.
Real quick, I thought I saw like a thumbnail where you were close.
Yeah. So I do that every 5 days a week. I work on the split because I'm going to be 250 pounds at some point and be 250 and be able to do a split because there's a connotation. A lot of people's minds are like, oh, somebody who's big, they're not flexible. And I'm going to be like, bitches, like I'm way more flexible than you.
You just got to work on it like everything else.
Yeah. GRC, you were going to say something. And then
real quick, we got the guy with the best name in YouTube. YouTuber is his name. How long have you been in the YouTube game, sir? Because that had to have been like taken away the first year. Jim Rat, you're always online, bro. Well done for all the hard work you guys put in. Thank you to reach of you. Great to have newer faces alongside HexOGs. Yeah, thanks, bro. Your name is sick. I wish my name was YouTuber. Anyway, the Crypto Wonder podcast, discipline and dedication wins the race every time. But why do people become disciplined and dedicated? That is the ultimate question, right? Like the question always is like, why do some people get dedicated? Why do I enjoy being dedicated, and why does someone else not enjoy it?
Why did you decide to stream every day? Why do I decide to always jump on a stream? Why do we all have our motivation?
Because you want to come talk to us, Wales. We know what's up.
I want to make sure people got their head up their ass. Hey, crypto is the way. Stop playing. Stop playing. That's my message. That's my message for real, man. I'm trying to help people realize stop playing with fiat. That's not the way to go.
Yes.
And I can explain to you why from A to Z. That's literally all I'm here for. Once crypto makes that conversion, I'm irrelevant forever.
Do you guys believe that crypto is going to be the same size but bigger than the currency market?
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
It's already half. Okay, so every day you already see 5
Wait,
trillion.
what do you mean by size, though?
I'm about to explain I'm about
units
to
or
I'm about to answer this question. Check it out. So in dollar terms, you mean, right?
Yeah, but it could be like, it depends on how you want to define that. So maybe trading volume of
that's what I was going
to do. Or currency in circulation.
I was going to do trading volume for FX daily relative to the market cap of crypto now, because the trading volume clearly can't be there for crypto. So I think it's a good way to measure it for now, since it's so new. Floating rate. Floating rate exchange rates. Floating exchange rates have only been around for 50 years. So they're relatively old, but also relatively new relative to our existence within the monetary system. So when you look at crypto, it's only been around for 10 years. It's only 2 trillion. Everything else is hundreds of quadrillions of dollars, right? Like it's not comparable in reality. So I think at least the way I like to look at it is, the amount that we have out there in terms of market cap, quote unquote, because even that number is false, for now relative to the daily trading volume, which is 4 to 5 trillion. So
let's play conjecture really quickly. Orca, I want to hear your conjecture on this, your opinion. We've seen Tesla from 2009 to today go from zero effectively to 800, 900 billion dollar organization. We've seen crypto go from zero to 2 trillion, 2.5 trillion, whatever that number might be, depending on how you define things. At what point in the future do you see crypto being the thing that is like the size, bigger than the size of, it eclipses the size of like currencies and just devours those in terms of like market cap relative to the total amount of currency that's printed or something? When do you think that's going to happen? And then Wales, I want to hear your opinion after Orca.
Sure. So it depends on whether or not I take sort of a concerned conspiracy theorist like doomsday timeline into effect, or if I just assume that fiat currency in the current paradigm with the US and the Fed is going to remain intact like for the foreseeable future. So I would say like give it 10 years. That's like a fast timeline, 15 years ideally. But I think it's a necessity, and the adoption is not even close to reaching a critical mass that can pick up speed that I don't think it'll be like mind melting to see how quick adoption can occur when it's directly tied to people's money. So I think that we're heading in that direction.
10 to 15 years before it's like the majority of people around crypto.
I would be concerned to live in a world 10 to 15 years from now where crypto doesn't play the primary role of my money.
I would agree with that statement.
Do you guys realize that over the next 10 years, we're going to experience the most amount of change that has ever taken place in the history of the planet?
Yep. That's why I don't think it'll be 15 years. I think it'll be max 10.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, the longer it goes, the more concerning it is.
Yep.
This is a very so you have, because as I mentioned, to pay attention to Tesla. Tesla is basically eating up the market cap of ICE vehicles, the market cap of the energy sector, and creating a new markets all at the same time. That is happening, transforming dumb vehicles to smart vehicles, ICE vehicles to EVs, and the traditional like safe utility money that was out there is going to be all into renewable stuff over the next decade, which is going to literally people have no idea that by 2032 that you're not going to be able to buy an ICE vehicle. It's going to be like scarce. Like they're barely ever going to be around, and you won't be able to buy them. All the people in the comments or anybody watching is going to be, I'm not going to drive an EV. Well, you're a clown and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have that happening. And then you also have what we're talking about right here with crypto. Holy fuck. By this time in 10 years from today, the world will literally be unrecognizable because of the crypto in the financial side of things. And then what is happening in the physical world. Holy shit. What an incredible time over the next 10 years. This is going to be absolutely mind-boggling, the amount of change that's going to happen.
The simulation's running on maximum overdrive, man. So.
Oh my goodness. It's not even, damn.
So
this is insane.
Let me give you my whole assessment here from that perspective.
Cool.
Couple things have to happen. The dollar system is clearly on its way out. It already ended a few weeks ago. So that's on its way out the door. The question is really what's going to replace it, right? And that's what everybody's trying to figure out because nobody really has an answer for that one. Not even me. You know, we can only presume it might be crypto. But again, that I think will only happen once it is easy and once it's readily available for the commoner to just use without having to think about it. That's when I think that's game on for crypto.
Wales.
Will it be Web3? I don't know.
Wales, question on that.
Uh-huh.
Crypto Coffee mentioned the other day, which I agree with. Do you see the point of adoption, critical mass, like say above 50% of the population globally, getting to crypto when layer ones play a much lower role in terms
Nah,
of the mind space.
I think layer one has to be the solution because
But it's so fucking cumbersome. How could something so complex and cumbersome? That's not how the world works.
but that's
Simplicity.
exactly why PulseChain is going to beat up the fuck out of everything else because it's not.
Yeah, we
But
need to add some-
it's still complex though. It's still so complex.
So let's
No, it's
address
not.
something real quick. It's not complex. We have
Yeah, it's
payment
blockchain,
networks,
bro.
and we have talented programmers in the world. The thing that gives an analogy that I've been using is that Bitcoin has given us the proof that crypto works, and Ethereum gave us kind of a free trial of what DeFi can be. But now the gas fees have priced us out. We have to have a subscription. A lot of fucking Ethereum. But PulseChain is kind of the first time where we have both the economic and political alignment within the actual vertical integration of the utilities of the blockchain and the DEX, as well as maybe even a currency or a store of value if that's something that you are interested in. So Ethereum can't pivot quickly. Bitcoin can't pivot quickly. Kind of different reasons though. Infrastructural weaknesses and also political misalignments between the two. So PulseChain doesn't have those barriers to innovation, and a lot of the technology that we need in terms of improving the product's efficiencies, those things already exist, but you just need a user base first in order to continue the economic engine that aligns the product and promises its development of the future.
But in the sense that how somebody said Stake Wrap is already doing this, and I think this is probably going to play out some way into the future where it's going to be far more common, where the layer ones are much more trivial in the sense that, and I don't think that necessarily PulseChain personally, on like the sense of where I'm at right now, is going to be the thing in 10 years. Like I think there's going to be an evolution, just like there's an evolution in
Let's hope
this.
so.
But it's going to be much more powerful and faster. That can actually support like adoption at a much higher rate.
But again, that's what I'm saying is like I think sometimes we get too general about. It's the same appreciation you just had for the moment in history, right? The moment in history, in my eyes, is the Ethereum fork that's fee efficient and the easiest to adopt. Ethereum
This is when crypto is going to actually
the biggest net of users.
Look. People have to understand what we've just seen for the past 12, 13 years is not crypto. Period. It doesn't matter what you think or what you know.
Thank you.
Crypto is about to come into existence once PulseChain launches. That is it. Simple as that. What you know is promise coins. That is imitation stock market. That is not cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is software that works without middlemen. It is just software. It is not shit with people behind it saying, yes, you can do it. That is not cryptocurrency, period.
And also, to Sam's point,
I
was, remember, I think it was Crypto Coffee, even when he was on here with y'all, was talking about his vision of the maturation of the space and how PulseChain's user interface could even be simplified to the point where the end user doesn't experience the gas fee transactions and stuff.
That's what I was talking about.
And I agree with that vision.
That's what I mean when I say that's when we get to a point
Yeah.
that is just ready for the commoner to use.
But that's exactly what I was saying.
Working on that.
That downplays layer
Wales
one.
and I were simply appreciating that PulseChain is the catalyst that gets us there, and it is the layer one in our opinions. I think I'm not trying to speak for you, Wales.
No,
that
brother.
is like the first true launch at like equitable blockchain
Yeah,
technology.
I mean,
for the world.
I think we're on the same page there because it's evident that what we've seen elsewhere has been created in such a way that it was just ripe for the plucking and nobody plucked it except the wrong people. And this is why now we have exorbitant fees on Ethereum. This is why Bitcoin is not usable, right? I mean, it's not like we don't know that these problems can be solved because we know that they can. So why haven't they? And this is why, well, now we have a damn fork. Go F yourself. Go fork yourself. Simple as that. So only now, once this launches, PulseChain, is when we're going to actually see crypto because there will not be middlemen. and that is cryptocurrency in its true form, where you, Sam Stolt, will be able to say, I want to send some random fucker that I know 1,000 pulse. And they're going to have to probably get a MetaMask or something. And that's probably going to be the extent of it. But you're going to be able to send them that 1,000 pulse, and that's just going to be the end of the thought. You're not going to have to think any further. Like, damn, what time is it? Can I send it right now? Is it Sunday? Is the gas cheap? Is it low? What's going on? What are they printing NFTs? Like, what's, we don't got time for that, bro. We got shit to do. But here in Ethereum, we have to sit here, check the clock, look at the calendar, check the gas. All right, it's not Sunday morning. Let me see what's going on with the. It's a joke, bro. This is not crypto. This is not cryptocurrency. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the beginning. Like I see it as crypto.
That's not even the beginning. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
but it's just like anything. Like when transistors came out. Transistors came out. They were.
Sam. Everybody was duped.
It's the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Same exact thing.
Everybody was duped. Just like people think they actually own stocks in the stock market, there has never actually been any crypto. Everybody was duped for the past 12, 13 years. That's simply all that's happened. It's not that it's now just becoming its thing. No.
But you can actually get your certificate of a company if you choose to. You just have to not be an idiot.
What do you mean?
Like you can if you want like the ownership that shows that, you can get that, or can probably explain it far better than I can. But like if you want to go buy fractional shares in Robinhood, yeah, of course you don't actually own anything, right? You own a representation. But if you actually want your piece of
shares,
paper,
you can do that, sure, but that's not the point. The point is that the system is set up such that you just do not, and you do not know that you do not, and people do. So it's a misrepresentation of reality on purpose, intentionally. That is not something that people know on average. The average Joe does not think, I do not own this stock. I own a representation of this stock. That's not what the average Joe thinks. The average Joe sits here looking at their fucking Robinhood app thinking they actually own Doge, and they don't even own that shit.
Yeah, they own.
I see crypto as very similar to stock.
Exactly.
Personally.
It's not. That's what I'm trying
to do. But it is. So what is stock? It's made up shit that people buy and pretend like it has value. Like that's it. That's
not the case here.
So
but it is in this essence.
So Sam, I guess the thing that it seems like an easy way to, at least in my mind, to kind of discount the value of PulseChain is to say that even once PulseChain does it, someone can fork PulseChain, and there could be tons of
there will be,
and if you
probably will be too.
Yeah,
right?
If you don't have users, then they're not valuable. And I hope they get users. I believe that we'll live in a multi-chain world because it's just more decentralized.
Yeah,
but you obviously want to be able to maintain value. If you learned that your shares of a company weren't worth any money when they went to the exchanges of a different country, you would not want that to occur. You wouldn't use those shares in a different exchange, so you would be invalidated in that ecosystem. We don't want that, right? That would fail adoption. So if we're assuming the future involves PulseChain having success, that gives it just creates the potential for actual success in growth. I don't care if PulseChain is the layer one that is. I don't live in like a one chain world. I already live in a multi-chain world. Some of them have uses. I used Avalanche a couple of times for sacrifices. So that's not even Ethereum, right? But it's a fork.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what you ultimately hope for, is that the value of crypto, whatever your value is in crypto terms, is able to maintain consistency across chains, right? And then if you can develop such a sophisticated interface that nobody experiences the layers beneath or the intermediate fees that they experience, because hopefully they're so negligible that you can just bake them into the cake, then that's just a utopian evolution above
right. Doesn't that seem like when you look at anything in history, right, we're going through the evolution of blockchain where it's not capable. It is capable of a lot of things. It is not capable in terms of, if you think of blockchain as computational power, it is weak as fuck, right? So if you think of blockchain, the technology, as something that will continue to expand, as we've seen, and in its short existence, then it doesn't take much to realize that if there's even a slight modicum of improvement over the next several decades, that we're going to have better versions of shit today that are far more capable than things today that like what you were just saying in this utopian world where we could live in. I mean, that could easily be on the horizon, right? Because we've already seen shit change. We already know that the world, that's the only constant, right?
Yeah, so I think it's important then to appreciate the micro analysis here, because the competition, right? PulseChain has the first mover advantage. They don't have the weight of the politics that exist within the Ethereum development and miner ecosystem. Thank you. And Bitcoin, we know about the spaghetti code and more importantly, in my opinion, the lack of economic incentive organically built within its development in order to support future development, which is why it requires subsidies essentially in order to even maintain its already outpaced inefficiency. So there will be people that try to look for that economic opportunity, right? If it's there to go and develop competition against PulseChain, I think that people will, right? If there's any void, it'll be filled, but I think we have to kind of appreciate that there's the first mover advantage as well as the fundamental establishment of taking what already works.
But also, there's also like a leader who is like, so to speak, trying to do the right thing, how he sees the world. And Ethereum doesn't have that, and doesn't have the person that wants to do that.
Well, Vitalik wants to, but they have politics.
But he doesn't. He said he doesn't. He doesn't want to be in charge. Like, he doesn't want that.
Oh no,
he wants it to be as decentralized. So how do you fucking lead something if you don't want to be a leader? But with PulseChain, because maybe PulseChain,
right?
Maybe PulseChain is this 1.0 and then 2.0 and 6, 7, 10, 12, whatever it is years, that is like that utopian state, because like who else is at this moment in time?
Exactly.
Right? There's only one Elon Musk out there, right? But there's only one Richard Hart out there in the crypto.
And Richard Hart is begging people to compete about it, man. Like, do you think he wants to be the one that has to build the capacity for Ethereum? He's bragging about it as an open invitation. It's a target for anybody to step up to the plate and do this damn thing,
it's
including
hard.
Vitalik.
It's easy.
It's hard.
Then,
seems hard, at least. I wouldn't know.
It's not easy.
Well, what are you guys' thoughts? And then I gotta get to.
I wanted to give you a little Easter egg. I've said this a couple of times, but I had reached out to Richard in DMs asking about efficiency with PulseChain, because Sam, like you, I'm thinking about the future, right? Is there going to be an inevitable limitation of PulseChain? We had at this time already heard about, well, you could fork the fork, right? Or you could move a decimal point, things like this, as far as maintaining fees as an issue. But we're thinking throughput efficiency. This is not Visa, this is not Swift. And I had brought up the idea of proof of history. I think I maybe had talked to you about this, but he had said that their developers are already working towards that horizon, right? So that's what I mean by, I put the chips on PulseChain because we see them. They're already making moves. So in my opinion, they're in the lead. And the alternative competition has to establish its foundation. These guys are already working on innovations that extend beyond the current developments.
Well, I appreciate that, because that would be fascinating, right? Like what Solana, or some derivative like what Solana is doing, or like what HNT is doing, or there's, I'm sure, other projects who have the same idea behind consensus. And
there would be more traffic on those layer ones if Ethereum's fees were lower. The people would be able to migrate and utilize alternative chains for alternative utilities if developers are competing.
What do you guys think of, and this will be my last question, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. So if there's a ERC20 that trades at $100 a share, and you have a PRC20 that's a copy, right? So you have a derivative of something, right? What are your thoughts around how that is going to be valued as a derivative? Like,
is it really a derivative? Is my question. I don't think it is.
Yeah, you're right. It's just completely fake. I agree, 100%. That's all it is, right? So, what is what do you think? Well, I want to hear your thoughts, Wales. What do you think? What do you think it is? Because like it's a copy of something that was already out there. So, tell us what you think about this and how you think, is this going to trade at par, right? So, is it going to be at $100? Is it going to be less than $100, or is it going to be more on Pulse X relative to Ethereum? And explain why. I'm curious.
Since when is free money fake?
But what does that have to do with what I just asked? Sorry to get to the point, but like, what does that have to do with what I just asked?
Anytime that something like this happens in this ecosystem, it has value. It never does not have value.
So you're saying it's going to be less than $100?
No, I'm gonna say it's gonna have value and probably equivalent value at some point in time once the bridge opens up. Won't be immediate, but it will happen.
So you think it will trade close to par at some point?
Yeah, has to.
I mean, there's different.
Why do you think it has to?
Because it's a literal replication of something that exists elsewhere.
Yeah, but I can make a copy of the Mona Lisa and that shit's trash. Like that's what happens all the time.
Yeah,
Copies
but
of
this
shit
is
not worth as
software,
much.
bro. It's software.
Correct. You can do the same thing with software. But that's what I'm asking. Like, why do you think that that's going to be the case? I don't know the answer. I'm asking people because I want to hear what theirs
People
are.
are going to want to transact over here, I think, simply relative to over there.
So you think that will be like what holds it at par?
That's definitely going to be a main attraction for sure.
Orca, what are your thoughts on where do you think something's going to trade if you have something at $100 in ERCs and their PRC equivalent? Is it going to trade par, above par, below par?
I don't think it matters. The primary utility of PulseChain existing is that I can wrap my Ethereum tokens and go and trade them around as wrapped Ethereum tokens and take on just the third-party risk of a bridge service. And that would be enough. That would be enough because the primary network is Ethereum. But if you want to get into the nuance of like, will there be price parity with the PRC20s? You have to get into the community size, like how much support, how much economic support is there behind that particular PRC20? If you're telling me that ERC20 is worth $100 a unit and it's not a scam, it sounds like it probably has a pretty large community. And if it's not a layer one that costs $100 a unit, then do they need cheaper fees? Maybe they'll want to just go and create a half off liquidity pool incentive to double their bags. That would seem like a pretty smart opportunity to take advantage of. So I think that the ERC20s or the PRC20s, if you will, that have, the use cases that work on Ethereum, including the ones that are priced out currently on Ethereum, but just the worthwhile PRC20s are bound to experience bonding of liquidity, especially because the only people that would be incentivized to do liquidity providing on Ethereum are getting, as Richard says, half of that pair up front to go and perform that same behavior over on a different chain.
So it doesn't sound like the parity in pricing is something that you think of, or like there's not really, there's no fucking idea what's going to happen effectively, but the thoughts behind it are not really, because both of you said the same thing. It's free money. So what is that?
Concrete answer. That's the thing. How do you put value on a bean, baby?
It's not guaranteed, but
right?
I think that people, you look at your different revenue streams in your own life, and I know that you have an interest in real estate and things, but you also have a diverse portfolio of cash flow. So there's got to be some respect for just the awareness that it requires to achieve that level of financial literacy. And people that are in financial positions of power on Ethereum, they don't have to have an emotional allegiance to that chain by any means. So if there's economic opportunity and there's public awareness of it, then
people will
I think it's a pretty weird contrarian view to assume that they wouldn't utilize it.
But there's also like look at actual human behavior. Like actual human behavior, when somebody builds up a bag, they become conservative and they stay in the direction. It's called a status quo bias.
Big enough bags.
But ETH is broken, dude. ETH is
broken, brother.
Yeah, but dude, if you got $27 million, do you give a shit if it's $1,000?
Some people
It's this
don't
simple.
care, but most people are going to care. Some
It's
people
this
are
simple.
poor.
Crypto adoption is not possible on Ethereum. End of discussion.
It really isn't.
There's no further point to have this discussion because it's that simple. It's just never going to happen there. It's
But
never going to happen on
let's
Bitcoin,
assume ETH
period.
2.0 is coming out tomorrow, Sam. Even if ETH 2.0 come out tomorrow, the idea is still the same. If they were able to do, if PulseX has better game theory than Uniswap, and there is observable, net positive opportunity, they don't have to take 100% of their ETH bag to work in PulseChain. What if they spent 2% of their bag to achieve a 98% likelihood that there's profitable outcomes providing liquidity on the PulseChain network? There's people that have, Godwale doesn't only work with Ethereum, right? So he has bags in other layer one.
Oh no, correct. But there's people that I know who own businesses that have, north of the there's ultra rich according to the traditional definition, it's 30 million plus, 30 million plus in terms of net worth, and there's definitely a real thing in terms of status quo and what they choose to put their money into, and they could take a relatively trivial amount to them, but large quantity relative to the masses to move in some direction, right? 1 to 7, 10% of their portfolio might be a small amount to them, but a large amount to somebody else. It's definitely an interesting conversation to see. I'm super curious to see when this comes out. There's going to be so much opportunity. I am excited to see what happens.
Lighten the mood before you step away.
So he could probably throw one up.
Oh my God, the Gotchander is killing it today.
As long as people use it, you need an anonymity set. So
And I gotta ask him a question. Please.
They're so stupid.
Richard, I always hear you say the word copy. Can you please explain what it is and how it works? You don't know what the word copy means.
Oh, fuck.
Have you ever downloaded a movie? Have you ever downloaded music? Have you ever downloaded a picture? Do you realize that picture or movie or music also exists somewhere else in the world?
Oh my God.
That's called copying. So something exists in one place, and then you make a copy of it, and now it exists in another place too. Particularly data. Data is very easy to do that with. Fork is harder to do that, like an actual fork you eat with. It's very hard to make a copy of an actual fork.
X on Ethereum. X
Nice.
on PulseChain.
This question is the weirdest, stupidest question I've ever heard.
And with that, I'm gonna let you guys.
Oh man,
Was that funny? I didn't even get to listen.
Oh,
that was hilarious. It's just,
I was gonna listen to it on my phone. Someone just told me to pull it up.
it's
Dexter is funny. Hey, I'll give it to you. I don't think any motherfuckers are funny. That dude is.
he's a funny motherfucker.
oh
Yeah,
he's
I think most people are annoying as fuck, to be honest. But he's actually funny, which is rare.
that's a good video. I appreciate both of you guys' insights and thoughts and opinions on your
Always a pleasure, Sam.
Thank you, sir. And Orca, I appreciate your time as well.
Love
GRC,
that.
we'll talk later today. Talk to you guys. Anybody who wants to check out how to buy crypto with a credit card, you can check out the link. And
Hey, did you put out the video yet of the synthetic option?
I'm gonna do that hopefully this afternoon. Probably tomorrow morning. I'm gonna actually film it, but lay it out.
Sure.
I'm excited. This is
It sounds cool.
super, and it's not on an exchange. It's not like you said FTX.
The way that you were saying, I figured it wasn't. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts.
Cool. And you don't have to pay for it. You know how you have to pay for an option up front?
Right.
You don't have to pay for this, and you can get it. Oh man, this is gonna be. I'm gonna definitely.
I
do
love
this.
your brainstorms, man. I can't wait to hear it. This is gonna be
Hey,
good.
appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, this is the first time I've had FOMO for one of your videos. I think.
Oh,
No, seriously, I think this is I'm I can't wait to watch that one.
It's.
I don't
It'll be.
want to
I'm
use the advice. I
amazing.
really don't want to use the advice. I just am curious of the game theory.
And imagine a double exponential, which is really hard for people to grasp. But a double exponential from option payoff and then crypto
Sam,
later.
get your ass off this show.
All right, bye guys. Peace out.
Buy an
He'll
option.
never leave.
Yeah, come on. RH is gonna come in here and be like, "Who the heck?" No, I'm kidding. No,
it needs
look at
to,
that.
man. You're at you got to be close to 1,000, right?
Oh yeah, getting there. Yeah, this has been a really fun
Nice.
one. I'm so happy that these good conversations are being able to be had with people that are, oh shit.
Dude, I'm excited for Crypto Stylist campaign. I had seen 1 or 2 posts of the Fix the Money, Fix the World challenge. And I just didn't know that was an actual challenge. But
Yeah,
then
it's
to
an
have her
actual
on the
talent,
show
yeah.
and like hear about it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'll definitely be sure to support that and try to make people aware.
They're gonna think it's arbitrage when I win it. Okay. Because this shit's going down. I'm making a freaking video. I'm making sure every loophole gets used.
Hell yeah,
Okay.
man.
Bro.
I'm going at this, but I'm really just trying to make everyone else want to do it too. Only if you already show your face. If you don't show your face and you don't want to, I understand a lot of people were getting a little upset in the group chat because they're like, you want me to download TikTok and then you want me to show my face?
I mean,
And I
that's
was
what
like,
the
I
contest
know.
is.
I
Damn,
was
what
like,
the
I
hell?
know.
I feel like it's for whoever's already like
Yeah, there.
putting
Exactly.
selfies and stuff out there, man. Like,
Yeah, that shit ain't for
Exactly.
people
who
that aren't
cares?
doing that already.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I
know-
think it's just a cool little niche because like I don't do the TikTok and stuff,
ain't
and I
doing
don't
that.
really do Instagram. So
You put
yeah,
a
John
million
it's
X up,
important
I ain't
that
doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
got
trying
John
to be
McCoy
like
in the green
on
room.
content. Oh yeah.
Yeah, 931 subs, guys. Let's see that tick up. Anyone who's watching this right now, smash that thing. Smash it. Smash it hard, baby. Let's freaking go. No, but in all reality, this has been really fun.
Dude, look at that chart.
All jokes aside, yeah, that chart is
Mine
absolutely
don't look like that.
parabolic. Absolute. But yeah, no, guys, out of everything I could say, this has been so just fun. Like I've had so much fun. I didn't know
It
working.
is fun, right? Once you
I
get into
didn't
the
know
swing of
this-
it.
I didn't know anything could be fun 9 to 5 during the day. You
I'm
know, I
glad that
really
it's
did
been.
it.
I'm glad that people have embraced it enough to come on and like discuss their projects and stuff because it's been a really good hub for hearing people in the crypto community talk about their work, and it's nice to just be able to kind of have a one-stop shop where that stuff's being discussed.
John McCoy.
Hey, it's
How
good
you
to
doing?
connect. Doing good. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Sure. I'm a classical dev that ended up over in security. And think I don't know, around 15 years in security. You can check me out from DEF CON talks. I'm heavy in the OWASP community.
What was that thing you said? DEF CON what?
DEF CON talks. I have some DEF CON presentations. Like if you go to YouTube and you put in John McCoy DEF CON.
Defense.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I don't know the language.
Oh, DEFCON. It's a hacker conference.
Yeah,
it's like the Olympics.
Yeah.
If I hear words I don't know, I like to just write them down.
No, totally. And OWASP, OWASP, they're like a white hat crew worldwide, community, 501c3, all that, conferences and talks there. Anyways, yeah, I'm an AppSec engineer, which means I'm a security team in a box.
He's
Like
on this earth to balance how reckless my advice is in crypto security as I try to onboard people.
I actually learn a lot from the crypto community here. Like I'm learning, like from my point of view, Web3 crypto security is ahead of like classical enterprise security. Like
How about that? Cutting
Yeah.
edge appears once again. People.
Why would they make it harder to steal their own money and report it as a crime?
well, but I mean, like the technical, like the hardware wallets, it's hard to get users to self-manage private keys. Near impossible in Web 2. In crypto, most people can manage their own private keys. Like it's awesome. Like
That's fair.
Mr.
It is
McCoy,
so
do you have any
nonchalant.
videos that these people can research of any sort? They're just somebody asked. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Oh, sure. John McCoy, DEF CON
Slash OnlyFans.
1819. The titles were hacking.net, title The Black Arts, and I did C# tools, but DEFCON, and then John McCoy, I would say 19.
Okay, so John, you got to give us like some insight.
Somebody drop me a
like,
link in the
you
chat.
got of John's video.
No, I was just wondering for his whatever he was. Bullish was looking it up in the background. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
No, all good. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I need the behind the curtain look, man. Like, where are these threats? Where are the digital threats in the world that I'm not aware of?
I mean, you're all up on the DeFi stuff. I think what we haven't seen is where they get into the DeFi or the platform and then they attack all the users from there. So like it's so far it's been just hitting the platform. They haven't like turned around and attacked all the users that signed the contract to the platform. So I mean it's gonna get weirder, but I mean it's pretty transparent. Like I wouldn't think that you're not up on anything.
Okay. Do you feel then that the current modes of best practice security are enough to transition from the current paradigm into a crypto-centric economy of the future?
I think we're maturing. Like we can't like it's good that not everyone jumps into crypto now because it's a slaughterhouse. And it's hard. But we're figuring it out.
That's why I try to get. I was literally on a stream a couple hours ago trying to get people to understand that. You know, you can't expect mass adoption when you have to rely on people being responsible for their own affairs. Like, you got people out here thinking that wearing a face diaper makes sense, man. Like, you got to realize what's going on in the world. People are not ready for crypto. We have to get to a point where they are before mass adoption is actually possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I would throw out like the password, like what we all are accustomed to passwords. We have password managers, all that. 30 years ago, no one had passwords. It was rare to have a password.
Yep.
Like,
right.
and now it's like, oh,
everything
now
is
we have
personalized to you now. It wasn't that way before, basically.
Oh yeah. And what makes a good password? How do we store them? Like that was a huge evolutionary step for people to get their shit together on. And it's like, yeah, they'll self-custody, I hope, in the future. I mean, it's safely, easy.
That's route. People just have see, people used to self-custody. It's not like this is a foreign concept. We've just gotten away from it. That's all.
Right.
We all know that's true, you know, and I think it's just a matter of getting back to the grind. And in that respect, people being more self-responsible, more self-aware. I mean, this is the only way people are going to really achieve what they want in life. It's not going to happen because somebody's going to give it to them. And until they realize that, there is no hope for these people, period, in general, that think that way.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And our tools are getting better. I mean, hardware wallets.
They are.
Readable contracts. Like you look at these contracts and you're not a developer, you're fucked. And it's like,
hold on. Do you remember when they first talked about smart contracts back in the day? They tried to make it sound like if they were like lawyers in code, like if they were going to replace lawyers and all this nonsense. They were like, how is that even going to be possible? Like, you know, so just based on that alone, it sounded like a damn scam all the way back then. You remember that? It was so weird.
Oh yeah,
I do remember those pictures.
You remember that, right? Oh man, it was a weird time, bro. Didn't make any sense. Good old days.
Can I ask you a question about hardware wallets?
Yeah, of course,
Mr. McCoy. So what do you say when people say that if you have a separate device that you only use for crypto, that having a hardware wallet doesn't really matter as long as you don't look up anything obviously compromising? What would you say to someone if they had that argument to you?
I would definitely say no. Hardware wallets always kick the shit out of a separate device. If you're looking at say there was a malicious person on your network, would it be harder for them to get into a computer that you only used for crypto, which you have vulnerabilities in the operating system, you have bloatware installed by the manufacturer, like even if you don't do anything with your computer, it still has holes. Like it's not bulletproof. And if you get your keys inside of a hardware wallet, then that is a secure device that is designed to be hardened with no holes. And And like you came to me and said, someone got in my network. They're a bad person. Could they have got in this computer? It's like, yeah, they definitely could have got in the computer. And it's like, okay, I had a bad person. They got in the network. They got in the computer. Could they have got in the hardware device to get the keys? And it's like, well, pretty much damn no. like as far as human knowledge goes, there's no way to get inside of a hardware wallet remotely. I mean, even with physical attacks, it's hard, but remotely, it's pretty much a hard no.
Right.
So, I would. So there's kind of an interesting principle where like doors are designed to open.
Yeah.
Doors open.
That's why they're there in the first place, right?
Yeah. And
explain.
Well, so like someone's designing a door and you design it to fail open, like a database. Like say something happens on the database. Do you want it to delete all of your data and shut down and lock up so no one can get in? Or do you want it to try to recover the data and sit quietly until someone could get in there and save it? Like you design it with an intention. And a computer's intention is to run programs and connect to things. Well, intention is you don't get in there and you don't touch shit, and you do a tiny transaction safely. So like a fire door is designed to fail open. A bank vault door is designed to fail shut in an earthquake. And so that's why like from the design premise, the hardware wallet is more secure. It's designed to fail shut. Like if the hardware wallet doesn't know what's going on, its default is to lock up and die. So,
well, that made sense to me.
Yeah, it did.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of made it straightforward.
Yeah, I like the last part.
I didn't know that about hardware wallets. I just thought it was just more software centric than it sounds. If that makes sense.
And the ledger does actually run programs which we call wallets on it, but they're highly vetted. It's like the Ethereum language. They try to really keep it finite and securable. So I mean, it does run programs, but very small, very secure. Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys hear about Hex Tangent erasing his channel because of some sort of Australian Nazi stuff?
Yep.
Is it like he said things in previous episodes that would go
Well,
against their
let's look up what he said right here,
totalitarian
because
terms of
he did a big old
views?
post about it, and I really like Hex Tangent.
I do
Yeah,
too,
shit
man.
sucks, man.
I love Hex Tangent. I love his attitude, and he stays up all night and still has a smile on his face. I don't know how he does that.
But he does it.
But he does it, and he wakes up and he wants to
Lad,
stream.
man.
He drinks coffee, sleeps for 2 hours, parties. He likes it. He just enjoys his life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a hard time kind of like getting out of the grind or whatever.
I think I always wonder how people like him could just live like that, because I can't.
It stresses me out.
No, it's not that it stresses me out. It's just like I wish I could be so carefree, but I can't be.
He wrote, Australia announced new laws that are so extreme towards citizens who stream about anything financial, including crypto, that I literally had to delete my YouTube. The penalties are $1 million fine or 5 years in jails, and saying not financial advice does not do F all to protect you.
Australia really living up to the history.
Yeah, they do not give can someone give me their take on like why they don't give a rat's ass?
Because the people don't give a rat's ass. It's very simple. They just stomped on it for 2 years straight. They can do whatever the fuck they want with them.
Remember those videos and they were like shooting people with rubber bullets in the street and shit? That was like a couple months back.
Yep. Nothing's changed but the tactic.
And ain't no one ever says anything about that around here. They all say stuff about the other shit.
Bullshit. It all matters.
Miracle juice.
And it all matters. And this is why I talk about everything. It all fucking matters. You can't act like one thing matters and nothing else does. All the shit matters.
The Bitcoin guys think nothing matters.
Oh, word. I forgot about them.
Yeah. So Wales, your theory's broken because the Bitcoin
I know, right? They proved me wrong.
No, nothing matters, Wales, and the price action actually doesn't matter for your
It's
game.
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
Price? Man, you're stupid. Just hold the Bitcoin, man. You don't need to worry about price.
Dude, you're going to change the world if you hold the Bitcoin.
I almost threw up when he said that his Bitcoin's locked up.
Yeah, dude, what was that? Like, was
I
that that's
became
a joke,
physically
first
ill.
of all? He's
I
bluffing.
became physically ill, especially when Richard said like you did it so that you would avoid touching it for the set amount of time. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's like 10 years.
Yeah, he said
pretty sure
he said
this-
more than 10 years for sure.
Oh, hell, more.
Australia is on the cutting
Anyway, 10
edge.
is already like I want.
I mean, commie
heard
edge.
that saying, I was like, "Ugh." I was just like, oh.
They are very close to that commie cutting line.
Yeah, they are.
They're cutting it close. What do you think, McCoy, about the geopolitical climate in Australia? You have any takes on that? I'm sure.
I mean, yeah.
John
I mean,
tends
plenty,
to like
but
a couple posts that I put out there, so I bet he has some takes on it.
yeah. I go out of the way to try and catch all the flags that I can. I mean, I know it's not I know it's not helpful to the conversation, but I think the world's in balance. Like if everyone was on your side and agreed with you, the world would not be in balance. And it's like, yeah, sometimes it's nice to have some cunt to push against. Like, I don't know.
Maybe. I actually was having a long-winded conversation with an old friend of mine, and she lives in New Zealand now. And we were talking about crypto and was getting her and a bunch of their friends, onboarded into Hex and stuff. And she had pitched the idea of like the AI that kind of programmed and produced itself, and like how crypto maybe is the computers that we've developed, realizing that like human passiveness and lack of survival evolution has necessitated like economic incentives through the development of the software so that we create a decentralized finance and actually like become a level 1 civilization. I was like, that's like the smartest shit I've ever heard. She's never been in crypto, knows nothing about it. That was like
Best theory ever.
As she picked up every single aspect of layer ones and like why these things matter, like, dude, she was quick about it. I was like, okay, well, this is the easiest onboarding experience of my life.
Good shit, man.
McCoy, let's get your take on the Staker app. We got. He didn't like that question. He rugged himself. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's why he left. But I don't want to talk about the Staker app unless McCoy wanted to talk about it because I talk about it too much. I can't. I just can't with that.
New Zealand's crazy too, though.
Yep, just as bad as Australia.
Isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Just as bad as Australia.
Commonwealth.
Dude, what are they gonna do?
People got to stand up and fight for their rights, bro.
Man.
There's no option.
Kiwis are soft. I love them, but they're soft people.
Yep.
And I mean, it's hard. It's hard because they don't have like a tradition of firearms in their culture, so like that makes it a little more difficult. But at the same time, like if they made enough of a public statement, people who believe in righteous freedom that own guns would quickly support that movement.
Ross has one-liners for days. Ross,
Yeah,
you are on a roll. Hey, I wanted to say thank you to the guy who he said top 5 streams ever in my opinion. Great work, GRC. 400 plus videos I've watched. Thanks, dude. Hey, man, that's really nice. I appreciate that. I just try to keep it valuable talk or funny, a little bit funny. But so somebody asked you about the Staker app and your opinion on that.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Gnosis safes are sweet. Middlemen suck. And like, I don't know, not your keys, not your coin, but also not your setup and infrastructure. Like, you kind of have to trust the people under you. And it's like, I don't know. I've never seen the need for it, but I know people like it for some reason. So more power to them. I don't know.
Simple.
I mean, I think it's cool that people throw their shit in Gnosis safes and are trying different things evolutionarily. Like,
of course. I mean,
yeah.
I
like the Gnosis safe app.
The Gnosis safe app is great.
Yeah,
and
I use the web version.
I have trouble onboarding people to Staker. I don't onboard people to Staker app
Because you probably live in an area where you can't onboard people via Staker. Because it's by jurisdiction.
No, but I just mean like as far as like telling people, like I just tell them to use a computer. I just don't mention the Staker.
Got you.
Not saying like if somebody owns
literally, I got you. I literally can't. Like in New York State, you literally cannot do that. It's just not
Yeah.
possible because of the laws. Like you can't access that type of shit with your bank card because of your address.
I also get worried about having your phone on you. If it's not a burner phone, I don't really like it.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I tell people not to do mobile crypto.
Because I mean, how easy is that?
Yeah, it's not.
Say, hey, put your finger on this, bro. Just put your face here. I'm gonna put a whole bullet in your back.
Very easy.
Like just like simple as that. But I mean,
Right.
like I think like that. Some people don't, and some people don't even live in an area where that could even possibly happen. But a lot of people do. Obviously, if you live in a city of any density, especially you guys know.
And that's why I like the hardware wallets with that 25th phrase, because you have like deniable sub wallets and shit. Like, I don't know. It's a tangent.
No, that's not a tangent. That is very critical. I think I've been learning about that.
Nice.
I've been learning about how important that 25th word is. I don't know. Some people think I'm geeking out, but I'm really just trying to learn more than anything, like why these concepts exist and like why, like, you know, it's less about me and more because I want to have all the information in my arsenal, you know?
Oh yeah. Information's power. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as like security and everything, you know, I personally feel more comfortable telling people with what I know about my friends and their habits. They're critically bad and in critical danger as far as their daily habits. I don't like to even think about them having their crypto on a computer that they're using at all. Because it's just, well, because I was just putting myself in that. Like, I'm just thinking of myself really and extrapolating it to my friends beforehand. Now I know. I mean, once you get burned, you pay attention. I do usually. Like, but usually when I got burned, I was just like, I started doubling down on paying attention. You realize security is something that's so it's kind of pushed under the rug when people have financial incentive. You know?
Oh yeah. Security is a pain in the ass. Like, I mean, compared to like a software wallet and just YOLO party, like, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's wild, but I am gonna wrap this thing up, guys. What a great stream! What an amazing time to be alive. Talking to you guys about all these abstract concepts is just fun, man. It's very fun for me. I never had a think space like this. I've never been able to express myself intellectually at all. Not because more just like self-limiting stuff rather than like, obviously nobody was telling me not to do it, but this is a space where I feel like, man, I could do anything now. Like I really feel like I can do anything now because people are encouraging me that it has nothing to do with what you did before this. It has to do with what you're doing now. And I'm like, I can do now.
You're having a good time with it, man, because I think you're doing a great job, and I hope that you keep it going.
I am going to keep going. This has been the most valuable thing to me personally that I've ever done because I feel like it actually has meaning rather than just what I'm doing. You know, long term, like, you know, like ripple effect kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, guys, get me to 1,000. We're going to the moon. This bear market, stuff like this, guys, with the prices, with the waiting. If you can't handle waiting for shit, then just you're wrecked anyway.
Pretty much.
So just shut the frick up and learn how to live your life. Stop waiting for shit to happen so you can have benefit and start making shit happen. You can have investments and make shit happen. You can do both at one time. Your investments don't make you. You want to have a future secured and you want to be able to have a life where you live passionately, whatever that means to you guys. Hex in the morning, every single day. 68 to 1K, guys. I'm so happy everyone's here. It's going to be a bumpy, crazy ride, and I'm glad I'm here with you guys. Peace out.
Peace.